have to figure out how to cook with it and not make it
currently
taste like grass.
It's 27-16 Buffalo with 7 minutes left. I'm excited.
Turn the heater on.
No, I had to turn it off because you blew the fuse.
I know, but
did you just turn it off?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think you just turned it off. Now you have to wait till the fan cycle's out. See what you did?
I'm just trying to turn it on.
How are we late?
What are we late for?
I don't know how we're late. We didn't even announce the time for this live stream.
What are we late for? Are we late for something?
No, just don't touch it. I don't know what we're late for. Because the regular season starts on Wednesday, so I'm not late for Wednesday.
That I know of anyway.
I haven't done my 31 players video today, so
Slacker.
I just leave the 31. Well,
slacker.
I'm trying to keep up on. Oh, all right. So Indianapolis is making this interesting. I still don't know why they went for a 2-point conversion. Do you understand why they went for a 2-point conversion?
Says 3:48. That's when he pushed the button that we were going to be doing the live stream. That's when he filled out the thing.
Yeah, I don't go live as soon as I've set it up.
It takes a couple moments.
We need to get ready, and I need to get pretty, and she needs to dress down a little bit so she's not so much better looking than me. So
I get my tea. No, that's just when he starts filling out the little.
See, now they have to go for a 2-point conversion. This is so stupid. If they hadn't gone for the first 2-point conversion and missed it, they could have just gone for one here.
Can't wait until Wednesday.
They got it. 2-point conversion.
I need to make this bigger so I can
I get that a lot.
See it.
Nope,
that's the wrong
Next
button.
to the update, three dots. Up.
No, it's not on that. Oh.
Uh-huh.
And then, if they could stop changing what things look like.
Well, no, it's just the update thing comes up like once a week, it seems like.
Be a lot easier.
But again, if they hadn't gone for that first 2-point conversion, they wouldn't have needed one the second time. I don't understand football anymore. It's like baseball. I don't get that either.
So I think we all know the Browns are winning the Super Bowl, right?
I don't think that's happening, but we'll find out tomorrow night how far they go, because they have the Steelers, which is a good test for their first playoff game.
No, you can't see the screen. We'd like to keep the channel.
Right. That's why the board's where it is. Strategic thinking.
Oh, see, you can see a little bit of screen. That's all you're getting.
That's it.
Because we'd like to keep the channel.
Right.
So, what day does the season start?
Wednesday. Season starts on Wednesday. We got 5 games. And then we've got 13 the day after, which is would have been 14, but Dallas has had to delay their games, which might mean the 15th doesn't have a hockey game now. I might have a night off right at the start. I don't know. I'm just thinking.
There's a few people like your Sharks gear.
I like my Sharks gear too. I may not be a Sharks fan, but they do have a Shark jersey.
Somebody had sheets that looked like my shirt. Did it say the same thing?
Oh no, there's plenty of games on the 15th.
My hair blocks it. I think it says something else.
No, stop that. No. I hate apps now.
What kind of camera do you use? Logitech 1080.
Well, 1080 is the
resolution.
Is the resolution? It's a 930E, which is a widescreen camera. So 17th is off. So they'll start.
Your thoughts on the Leafs lineup power play lines?
I think the Leafs power play is going to be fine. I haven't paid a whole lot of attention to who's running on which special teams on which team right now, because they're just doing scrimmages as a team. So you might see a team that maybe they've got a crap penalty kill. That makes their power play look fantastic. Until we get into the actual games, there's going to be some guesswork. But just with the people you can put on a Toronto power play, it should be top 10 in the league.
Do you see Hoglander winning the Calder?
No. I'm glad he's playing well. I'm glad he's earned a spot in the lineup. I do not see him as a Calder contender.
Can't wait for the Battle of Ontario one more week.
Yep, 10 times this year we'll see the Battle of Ontario.
Who scores more goals next season? Points? A Point or Stamkos, assuming both are healthy.
For goals, I'd go with Stammer since he's on the wing and he's playing in Kucherov's spot. I'll say Point would be feeding him the puck, but it'll probably be pretty close.
Please explain how the AHL will move players across the border.
They will be subjected to quarantine. Quarantine entering the country. The quarantine was waived for training camp. I'm pretty sure for the regular season it will not be waived. It's part of the reason why you have the taxi squad. There was speculation about whether or not Canadian teams would move their AHL teams into Canada, but as far as I can tell, there's still the 14-day quarantine entering the country once the season starts.
Do you think Matthews is a good candidate for the penalty kill?
I don't see why not. I mean, there's some players that penalty killing just doesn't suit them, but with Matthews' overall game, I don't see why he can't penalty kill. I've always thought that was weird because I can remember the Oilers from back in the 80s, and part of what made their penalty kill so lethal was their star players were penalty killers too.
Are you watching the blue and white game tonight? I don't even know what that is.
I mean, I'll be watching the NFL games. That's as far as I go.
Football talk?
That's as far as I go. I think so. I think that's, I want to say college.
Oh.
I don't really get into college football.
It's a lot harder to watch college football. Over under 52 points for Barkov.
I'll take the over. I'll say he has a bounce back from last year.
Stützle is winning the Calder. I have spoken.
Tim Stützle is going to be one of the, I would say, top 4 or 5 guys. There's a lot of players that fans are going to be very excited about going into the season. It'll be interesting to see which ones live up to the hype. I think Stützle should.
Oh, they're talking about a Leafs scrimmage game.
Oh, no. The Canucks are having a scrimmage game tonight, too. I'm not watching scrimmage games. That's, like I said, it's going to make it look like players are better or worse than they might be because of whatever team they're on. So it's really, I mean, I understand people are excited about it. I really don't. I'm waiting for Wednesday. Wednesday is what matters to me.
It would be cool if Canadian Division could have games in other locations in Canada. You don't get to go to it anyways, so it doesn't really matter.
It is so hard to get the clearance to play as it is. You'd have to get some kind of special clearance to play elsewhere too. And I can't see Saskatchewan saying, sure, come on in and bring players.
They're avoiding moving them as much as they can.
The logistics of this season are tough enough as it is. That's why they're playing back-to-backs and they're doing a baseball-style schedule. You can't add special games in the middle without increasing risk. And in Canada, especially, I just can't see them okaying it.
There are a lot of good explanations for why goalies had better stats in the 90s onward, but why were they only bad in the 80s? Equipment, technique, training had to have been worse in the 60s and 70s.
No, they played a different style. The equipment was definitely smaller. The goaltenders were smaller. 6 foot was considered a tall goaltender. And just the style they played. There was no such thing as a butterfly. The butterfly goaltender wasn't a thing. And it wasn't dominant until the mid-90s. And then you get into, like, you know, Jaguar and Garth Snow and guys that were called Michelin goalies because they looked like the Michelin man with how big their pads were. And it all changed. Patrick Roy is where it changed. There's the pre-Patrick Roy era and after Patrick Roy. The goalies themselves weren't bad. It was just everything completely changed when Roy came in, and then the butterfly became a big deal.
Hoglander or Ulevy, who has a better rookie season for the Canucks?
Hoglander, because I think he's going to get more time and he's going to get a better opportunity to perform. I think Ulevy's on the third pairing.
Do you think the Wild can make the playoffs? And something about Krill. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry, I can't translate that one.
I think the Wild should be able to make the playoffs. Kaprizov could very well end up being. I think he'll be top 3 in rookies. Again, though, until they've started playing in the NHL, we don't know. Shipachev's a good example of that. But I do think Kaprizov should be fantastic for them. The Wild should make the playoffs in that division, but LA's going to make things interesting.
How do you think the Kings will do this season?
I like their young core. The young kids they have coming up all look pretty darn solid. We saw at the World Juniors just how good they could be. I think they're ahead of the Sharks. I think they're ahead of the Ducks. I'm not sure where else they fit in. I don't know how Arizona's going to do this year, but the Kings should be in the mix for the playoffs.
People are really excited the hockey's about to start.
I am
There's
too.
a lot of people talking about how they're really excited. Do you think the Caps have a good chance at winning the Cup?
Oh, the Caps, if they can survive that division, if they can come out of that division, they have a good chance. It's surviving that division is going to be the big deal. That division is really, really difficult.
Do you think Puljujarvi will make his way up to the first line with McDavid sometime this year?
It's possible. I could see a situation where he plays on the wing for him. It would probably involve an injury, though. I don't think he gets up there unless somebody ahead of him gets injured. He'll be playing with Turris, and I think they'll bring him along slowly. His talent, though, may force him into a top 6 role. The top line, though, would have to be an injury to get him there.
Logan Brown or Josh Norris? Who makes sense top 6?
I think Brown has a better chance because of the experience, but I think Norris has the higher ceiling. So it might be Brown this year, and then Norris may end up in that spot starting next season.
How do you think Ilya Sorokin will perform this year?
The Islanders are fantastic when it comes to goaltenders. We've seen that with Greiss, with Varlamov, with Leonard, and others. And so I have no doubt that Sorokin's going to be really solid. I think he'll probably end up with about 25 starts. And I wouldn't be surprised, considering how Barry Trotz likes to have that rotation, if he ends up playing maybe 28 and Varlamov gets 28.
Lars likes your jersey.
Thank you. Well, he's a Sharks fan, so of course he does.
I know that.
I have the 30th anniversary one on the way. Ben has sent me that. Ben's also got some of the reverse retro listed now on his eBay account, so you can always email him using the email that's in the description to this live stream, as well as all my videos, and just see what he's got. But I know he's got some of them posted. He's got more coming, but he's got the ones that he has that weren't pre-sold available now on eBay.
Who leads the Flames in points?
It should be Johnny Gaudreau, but if Gaudreau has another off season, it'll be Tkachuk. I'll say it's either Tkachuk or Gaudreau. If Calgary's to have a really good season and get back to where they were last year, like 2018, 2019, Gaudreau should be the guy.
Do you think Montreal could pull off number 1 team in Canadian division?
I can see it. I don't know that it necessarily happens, but I could see it happening. It would mean Carey Price has to be red hot. It'd mean that their goal scoring has to be more consistent, and Romanov has to have kind of like a seamless transition to the NHL because they need that depth on their blue line. It's possible. The Canadian division is wide open, absolutely wide open.
Who do you think is going to be the captain of the Rangers?
They just gave Kreider a big, long contract, so it could be him. Trouba's got a long, expensive contract. I could see it being him.
Shannon is watching football. That's why the board is there.
I mean, I guess Zibanejad, if they see him as being long-term part of their plans. Panarin, with his contract, they're paying him, $11 billion a year, so Panarin might be the guy too.
If you think Laine sucks, then you're not watching the Jets. Just saying.
Yeah, Laine doesn't suck. The season that the Jets just had, I think that was Laine's best all-around season. His goal scoring may have dropped a bit, but I think that was his best all-around season.
He's more consistent, though.
And he was passing the puck, and he was more selfless out there. So if he can have that kind of season and add a few more goals with Stastny feeding him the puck, I think Laine could have a huge year.
How many whiteboards does Shannon have? A stupid amount.
I think it's
There's
15
5
in this
right
room.
Here, 6, 7. How many are in that stack? I can see 3 at least.
That one behind you.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's a lot.
6, 7, 9. I've got 9 on this side of the room. 10, 15, 16. And then there's 2 small boards, so 18.
Okay, so there's 18 in this room. There are more than that in this house, though. In the house, we have a stupid amount.
Right. So more than your traditional elementary school or high school.
Again, if you think Liney's lazy, then you're not watching the Jets.
He's not. And again, I would have made that argument during the 2018-2019 season, but all of his stats, everything, whether it's advanced, whatever it is, all of it got better this past season. He became a much better all-around player. And then he just got hurt in the play-in round against Calgary, so he didn't get a chance to really show that in that play-in round.
Will the Leafs ever be cool?
They're always cool. The funny part about Leafs is I've always been happy to wear their gear, even though I don't necessarily cheer for Toronto. I have always worn Leaf jerseys, Leaf hats, Leaf stuff. I've never had a problem with it because it's always easy to find in Canada. It's usually relatively cheap in Canada because they make too much of it.
True.
And
it's everywhere.
I don't know. I think the look is cool.
It is the easiest team to find stuff for.
The look is cool. The team itself, I mean, there's some cool guys there, sure. Matthews might want to shave his mustache, but other than that,
it's a bad look.
It's a bad mustache.
Not that he cares what my opinion is on it.
He doesn't care.
But it's
doesn't care what anybody's opinion is. I think it's just a troll job at this point, anyways.
I'm understandable. Do you own a Phillip Rivers jersey?
Sadly, no. I've looked at Phillip Rivers jerseys. I know through Full Moon jerseys, I think they have. No, I do. Do I have a Rivers jersey?
I don't.
All those San Diego Chargers ones that I have. I thought I had a Rivers jersey, but maybe I don't.
I don't think.
I know I have Tomlinson. What I really need is a Means jersey. I need one. So Natrone Means. That's the greatest. Because every time he would make a big play, Chris Berman would say Natrone Means business, and he just like bulldozed his way through the line. It was just the greatest thing. And then there's Junior Seau with the crazy eyes. There's a lot of Chargers jerseys I'd like to have. Junior Seau had crazy eyes. You just see him back there and just, he's about to kill somebody. Jerseys. And then sure enough, there'd be a murder. And then they clean up the body off the field. And then the next play. And eventually everybody on the other team's dead, so they win. It was a really bold strategy with Junior Seau. It worked. I don't think I have a Rivers jersey, but I need one. I don't think you do. I need a Colts jersey with Rivers on the back.
He does not.
I do.
No. Who wins 2021 WWE Royal Rumble match?
They're going to give Charlotte the women's match, is my guess. The men's match, rumor has it, it's going to be Daniel Bryan because they want to build up to a Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns match. Without fans in attendance, I don't know that Daniel Bryan winning the Rumble is going to mean a whole lot, but I'm glad that we're going to have the Rumble. I love the Rumble. Yvonne knows I love the Rumble, and she loves the Rumble too. She gets a real kick out of the Royal Rumble with, like, who's coming out next? Is it going to be Carlito? And she's always disappointed because Carlito doesn't come back.
I don't know who Carlito is. Which one's that?
He's the one that spits in the face of people who don't want to be cool.
Ew.
He used to come out and he was chewing an apple and he spit the apple in the face of somebody if they ticked him off. Yuck. It was pre-COVID. It was fine.
Clearly.
That was before there was any germs.
Hope to see you at the Bell Center one day.
Same. I'm hopeful that by this time next year, Yvonne and I will be able to say we've been to other
anywhere
buildings,
like grocery stores,
seen places, and
grocery stores.
There's definitely people that I've said, okay, I'll have a beer with you, or I'll have a coffee with you, and there's a lot of IOUs building up, and promises and rain checks. So hopefully those can be cashed in during 2021.
Are you watching Canucks scrimmage tonight?
I'm not planning on it. I'm gonna do some sort of a preseason power rankings, which of course will be agreed upon by many. I think the greatest thing about power rankings is that it brings the internet together, has the internet all agree at once. Those are wrong. All your rankings are wrong. Why do you hate my team so much? How can you call yourself a Canuck fan when you don't have the number one? You're not a very good Canuck fan.
That is true.
So I look forward to the first power rankings that will allow everybody to unite in their dislike of my power rankings.
But you put this team low because you're biased and you hate that team.
I'm thinking
you
about
clearly hate them.
Thinking about figuring a way too to use pucks for it, just cause.
Oh, that would make people mad too.
Yes, yeah.
We could just do all of the making people mad.
Yeah,
we could use
the
hockey cards that are shiny. Those when people really liked those.
I know. But I would do it in a way where the pucks were, I just need to figure out some kind of a display. If I had some kind of a display for the pucks.
If only you had
Will it sit on here?
Puck
Will it sit on here?
display. If you didn't have the whiteboard, probably, because it's not like it's really wide.
Will it hold 30 pucks?
Yes. Yes, I got one that was big enough that would hold all of the teams. It holds
31.
more than that, if I remember correctly. I got one that...
So I could put Seattle in the power rankings.
I got a bigger one because I wanted it to hold every team.
Yeah.
Does Yvonne like the Wrestle Rock Rumble? What is that?
Your answer's probably no.
I'm going to guess no, because wrestling.
I have been making her watch AEW stuff, though. I've made her watch Hikaru Shida matches with Abaddon, because she's the zombie girl.
The creepy-looking lady?
Yeah, the zombie girl, and I've been making her watch...
I might watch them just to check out their outfits and how they're not designed very well for
Brody
women
Lee
that are
Jr.
supposed to be moving around.
Shanna.
They must use a lot of double-sided tape.
Shanna's
sometimes they need more double-sided tape.
Yeah, she's
and that has to be really uncomfortable.
Yeah. So I make her watch AEW stuff.
That's not fair. That was designed by somebody that doesn't have to move.
AEW does post
boobs.
like just the matches individually, and it does post just the segments individually, so it's a lot easier to parse that out rather than, here's 25 hours of Raw. Why are our ratings down? It's only 25 hours.
So ridiculous. Hey, Shannon, I think you're going to be surprised by the Sharks this year. Lots of people counting them out who do not follow the team closely.
Their goaltending hasn't been any good for the last 2 years. That's been the major problem. Then they brought in Dubnyk, and they let Dell go. I'm not sure that their goaltending is better, and then I still have questions on their blue line. I'd like to see them get better. I still think the reason they've fallen apart is because I don't hate them anymore. I think my hate is what was keeping them near the top of the league. Once I stopped hating the Sharks, they figure, what's the point? If he doesn't hate us, we give up.
Do you prefer watching a hockey game at Rogers Arena or Pacific Coliseum? Any cool personal stories from either stadium?
Rogers is much better. Pacific Coliseum is where we saw Perfect Circle.
Yeah, I know where.
So, yeah.
Despite what he thinks, I do know where that is.
You know, at the Peony.
The seats are really uncomfortable at the Pacific Coliseum.
The seats are flatter. And the seats are flatter. So the seats at Rogers are more vertical. So when you're standing up and somebody as tall is in front of you, you can see over them.
Always somebody tall in front of us.
At Pacific Coliseum, not so much. So you're like this a lot if you're shorter like we are. So there's a lot of, if you actually look right between these guys' heads here, you can see.
Yes, you have to sit like this to watch anything.
So Pacific Coliseum, that's the issue I had with the Pacific Coliseum.
And you really squished in there. You really get to know the people sitting next to you.
The one game that I saw at Pacific Coliseum was Vancouver against Montreal that my dad took me to. He was excited to see Guy Lafleur. Guy Lafleur did not end up playing in that game, but the Canucks still lost that game, and it wasn't close. And the Canucks were wearing the Flying V's at the time, which didn't help them. And then in terms of games I've seen at Rogers, that was when Yvonne and I got together. The first game we saw together was Boston and Vancouver 3 years ago. It's going on 4 years ago now.
Well, it was 4 years ago. I wasn't listening to you.
2017, we saw the Boston-Vancouver game. That was the first game we saw.
Yeah.
So yeah,
because I'm an awesome wife and
I've been
tickets.
And as the channels got bigger, I haven't had to get the tickets at the very back of the arena.
We
for
did.
$30.
Were we in the very back, or was it
the very back row
forward?
We were in the very back row
because I was able to get them for like $40.
Yep.
Which now $40 for tickets to a Boston game would be pretty darn good.
Yeah. Yeah. Even the cheap seats aren't that anymore.
Right. Any popular sports in Canada that aren't in the U.S.?
Curling.
Lacrosse. Yeah, curling and lacrosse. Lacrosse is huge here. Not in the States. Curling is awesome. People in the States don't know
lacrosse, what it is. There's an American League for lacrosse.
But here, all the schools have lacrosse. There's lacrosse courts and...
I think rugby's bigger in Canada than the States, too.
Yes, but most people in the States at least know what rugby is.
Yeah.
Lacrosse you don't ever see yet.
But like when I was in high school, you had to play rugby. You had 2 months a year that you played rugby. It's like, oh, it's rugby again? I don't want to play rugby.
That is true. Like all the high schools have rugby teams as well.
Yep. And all my friends that played it had come out all scratched to crap. bleeding all over the place. I'm like, man, I don't want to play that. That was so much fun. It doesn't look like it was fun. Your legs are bleeding. Why are your legs bleeding? Well, because I got cut with cleats. Why don't you protect your legs with? There's got to be something you can do. Yeah, no, he just get his shins scratched to crap because he was right in the middle of all the scrums.
Oh yeah,
and they're kicking to get the ball out.
Yep.
That's not fun to me. That's not. But rugby's big in Canada. We'd actually have to watch rugby games during gym class to learn rugby, and yeah.
Will Brady Tkachuk get way overpaid this year and Keith be a problem like he was with Matthew?
I don't think Brady's going to get overpaid because Ottawa doesn't really overpay players. And with the economic environment we're in now, it'll probably just be a bridge contract. It'll be 2, maybe 3 years, and it'll probably be for a lower cap hit. Players like Barzal. Barzal got less money from the Islanders than he would have if not for the huge economic downturn. Barzal would have got 8.5, maybe 9 million. He might have got, an actual offer sheet that the Islanders would have had to match. But yeah, it just didn't happen because of the downturn, and I think that'll affect guys like Tkachuk too.
Well, Matthews win the Richard this year. Also, how much will Zach Hyman make this offseason?
What could hurt Hyman is that he's apparently dropped to the third line, at least in training camp, right? With the idea of Thornton playing on the first line. So Hyman's numbers in terms of how much money he's going to make is going to depend on the numbers he gets during the regular season. And if they cut back his ice time, he's not going to score very much, and it's going to affect his money going forward. And Matthews could very well win the Richard. I'll do like a prediction too on who I think could win each trophy, because that way we can all agree that those predictions make a lot. That's really, you make a good argument. I enjoy your content. I may not agree, but we can pleasantly disagree. That's how the internet works.
That's not how the comment section ever looks.
And so I will partake in predictions, and that should be fun. And we should all be able to sit back and have a nice brandy, as long as you're legally allowed to drink brandy, and
why would you want to drink brandy?
And guffaw at all of the others who are unable to have such wonderful, decent discussions on the internet as all of us can.
Proper discourse.
Yeah.
Why is today the last public live stream, and what changes? Hockey starts. That's what changes.
Yes.
It'll be hockey.
This is the last public live stream we have before the hockey season, which is why I titled it Last Public Live Stream Before the Hockey Season.
Because hockey.
We have a live stream on Mondays, which is for patrons that are at the $5 and up level, and also is for channel members that are at the bridge contract and higher. We do that every Monday, though. So that's technically before the season, but that's not a public live stream. It's a much more chill, about 25 people in it.
A lot more chill. Yes.
Just hang out and just chat.
Yes.
We talk about everything. I usually make inappropriate comments towards my wife because it's funny.
You totally do. He absolutely does.
It's funny.
Because he's a boy. So, anyways, I know you don't like to talk about transaction rumors, but hey, what should Bergevin give for a center like Dubois?
I think Montreal's fine down the middle because they traded Domi in part because they felt that they were good down the middle. So you've got Danault. Now, if they decide to keep Danault, you have Danault, you have Suzuki, and you have Kotkaniemi. I don't think they need to go in on Dubois. I know Dubois with the French name and all that, that'd be great to see in Montreal. But I don't think that with what Columbus would look for from Montreal, I don't think they need it. I think Montreal's center depth is going to be fine as long as Kotkaniemi continues to take those steps he showed in the return to play. And Suzuki just looks like an absolute beast. And again, it's if they're going to keep Danault. If Danault leaves, then there's an opening there. They might look at Dubois, but I honestly, I'd prefer to see them keep it as it is.
Who's from Vancouver?
You're from Vancouver?
No, I'm not from Vancouver.
I don't think I'm from Vancouver either.
No, I don't know who he's asking about. Not us, right?
No, we're not from Vancouver.
We're not from Vancouver. What's your favorite Stadium Series jersey? Mine is the 2020 Avalanche one that I just got.
My favorite Stadium Series jersey might be the one I don't have. And I've looked at it. It's $375 on eBay. So while it's there, I can't in good conscience hit the buy button on $375 without feeling like this seems like a lot of money on a jersey. And it's the Kings 2014.
That's a lot of money.
The gray one with the crown on the front, Stadium Series. I also liked the Ducks one that year, which was orange with the Web D on the front. They're beautiful. The problem is those stadium jerseys, as nice as they look, those logos don't wear well at all. Those shiny logos do not wear well at all. Little did we know that was a preview of what Fanatics were going to be. But yeah, that I love that jersey. I don't actually have it because I haven't found it unless it's fake for cheaper. The ones I found cheaper are fakes.
Fakes are sad.
Especially stadium fakes. Like, it's just all of it gets
sad. A lot of them look really bad. They're sad. Which starting goaltender loses their starting spot this year?
I could see Holt be ending up pushed aside for Demko by the end of the season. If anybody thinks Jonathan Quick's still the starter in LA, I would give it 2 weeks into the season. And I think Pedersen's going to assert himself as being the actual starter. Outside of that, just trying to think through. I could see Reimer pushing Mrazek. I don't know about taking over as a starter, but I could see him getting the lion's share of starts at certain points of the season. And it's a crapshoot in Chicago. I have no idea who's going to be the starter there.
What are my thoughts on the Jets this season? Well, if they could all stay healthy, that'd be great. And I think they could be pretty good if they all stay healthy.
So we could still get
Other
Buffalo
than that,
Cleveland.
I think they could be really good this year, and that'll be really fun to watch. But it's kind of sad that there's the divisions, and they can only play within the divisions because it's fun watching them play other teams, like the Wild. That's
the Buffalo Bills have won a playoff game. Finally, I didn't jinx them. I was really worried when they were losing early in that second half. I was like, oh, please tell me I didn't jinx them. I'd really hate to think that, I went all in on them with the preview this week, and then they just
do you have football power too?
I don't know that I do or don't, but I took them as a team that I think could win the Super Bowl this year.
No, we're not talking about American politics.
No.
Pass.
No.
Pass. No.
How does Aaron Andrews never age?
Not doing it.
Like, Aaron Andrews looks the same now as she
did
10 years ago. I don't understand how she does that. She must not have kids. Right?
Now it's time for the Buffalo Sabres to win a Stanley Cup.
Like, when somebody doesn't age, it means they don't have kids, right?
That definitely helps.
Because they
really
get
helps.
sleep, they don't have the stress.
Well, they still have stress. It's just significantly less.
They don't have to ask the question, who did this? That's not a question you have to ask before you have kids.
I don't generally ask that because it's not like anybody will actually answer the damn question. Anyways, children are fun. Okay, does Pedersen have Vezina upside?
Pedersen, yes. Cal Pedersen, I'm very sold on him, and I have been for the last 2+ years. I think that he is going to be an excellent goaltender. Keep in mind that Jonathan Quick never won the Vezina, and when Jonathan Quick first came up, there wasn't any big deal made about him at all. I remember I talked a lot about Jonathan Quick at my former workplace. People were like, I don't know, I don't pay attention to the Kings. And I'm like, no, this Quick kid, he's really good. Nobody else paid any attention. I think Pedersen's going to be the same thing.
He always has the coolest helmets. So there's that.
Pedersen's helmet in Vegas was fantastic. Because we were front row in Vegas. We got a good look. And he looked really good in that game.
Fun helmets. That's the important thing.
Well, Kings always have fun helmets.
They do. They really do. Do you think Doughty or Subban will have a bounce back year?
I think Doughty. I think what hurt Doughty was just that the Kings as a team weren't any good. I think that the team getting better, I think that you'll see Doughty's numbers get better. Subban, I hope so. I genuinely hope Subban has a bounce back year, because if he doesn't, I would say he's probably on his way to Seattle.
My favorite teams, I like the Canucks, the Jets, and the Wild. So yeah.
Yeah, those are. I guess that qualifies as your favorite teams. I'll allow it.
You'll allow it?
I'll allow it.
I don't think that's how it works.
I will allow it.
I don't think that's how it works.
Konnichiwa. That means I'll allow it.
It does not work. Oh my goodness, Shannon.
Where is she? What?
Who do you see as the best all-around Flames player, defense and offense?
Best all-around Flames player.
Did you forget to feed
defensively?
Her? Or
I would say that
starving?
Backlund's still one of their best defensive players.
Are you starving?
Offensively, Johnny Gaudreau has a skill level nobody else does. But
what do you think about Ottawa this year?
They're going to be more competitive than they were last year. They're still not a playoff team yet, but the pressure is starting to build. The expectation is going to be that next season they'll be a playoff team.
Do you think there will be another set of reverse retros jerseys next year?
There'll be something. I don't know if there'll be reverse retros again, but with the popularity of these jerseys, I would say that there will be some other kind of specialty jerseys next year. The NHL right now is looking for revenue streams with the money being down as it is right now because there's no fans in attendance. So yeah, they will likely have another round of some kind of specialty jerseys.
Speaking of King's helmets, did you see Grosnick's new helmet with the Burger King and a crown wearing goose? I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen that. That's fantastic, though.
That's fun.
That's a good way to make sure that you make the cut, where they're like, I don't know if this Grosnick guy is necessarily an NHL goaltender, but the helmet.
Look at his helmet.
That helmet,
now
though,
has to play.
That's pretty fantastic. That's Yvonne level thinking right there. It's a good thing she's not a GM, because it'd be, I cut these guys. Why? I didn't like the guy's helmet.
He had Markstrom.
Yeah. Markstrom's helmet wasn't very good, so I've cut
ever. That helmet drove me crazy. And then every once in a while, he'd have a helmet for some special event. And I'm like, oh, that one's really nice. He should keep that. He's only wearing it for 2 games.
Yep.
He has the hideous one on again.
Yep.
It needs to go away. I think he wore it just because everybody thought it was ugly.
Remember, I'm the boss.
Pretty sure that's how it works. From a Vegas fan, I thought Subban in net was improving. But on another note, how do you think Detroit will do this year? For my dad.
Detroit, so they were 31st last year. It is unusual for a team to end up finishing last in the league 2 years in a row. I'm going to say that I don't think they'll end up being last. I think they'll win more games than might be expected. They're still not a playoff team, but I think they're on the upswing. Picking up Christian Juice is low-key a pretty smart move for nothing. So smart that Yzerman put in the waiver claim so that Juice's kid gets to play on the same team he did.
Some of the youth size reverse retro hoodies are really cool. Wish they would make them in adult sizing. I know.
She has one.
They're fun.
She has the
Jets
one.
I do have the Jets one. And there's some other team ones that look really fun. So they need to go on sale because I love jersey hoodies. They're my favorite. They fit a lot better than the Adidas jerseys.
You done whining?
Don't fit very well. They're huge.
Are you done whining?
I think Hasek trade is most lopsided trade in history. Do you agree?
Yeah, and the funny thing is that at the time that Chicago traded him, we all knew Hasek was very talented. It was a surprising trade at the time. For Chicago, they looked and said, okay, well, we've got Belfour. Hasek's older, so they traded him. But, that was a very lopsided deal.
Can people stop talking about Line-A because we do want him? Agreed. When people talk about that, I always say veto. No.
Most Jets fans
need to be
like
traded.
Line-A and want to keep him around. I think it's a lot of other fan bases that keep that going.
The Vegas youth size hoodie has your name on it. Wait, have I seen the youth hoodie? The Vegas one?
Yeah, it's red with the giant.
Red one?
It has the big.
That does sound awesome.
And,
I might need that. The hoodies need to go on sale. They usually do end up going on sale because the adult stuff sells really quick, and then the youth stuff doesn't, and then the smaller sizes don't. So that's how I get.
You don't need to claw
my jersey stuff.
You don't need to
because Shannon doesn't have any other jerseys he can buy. And Yvonne sized ones are really cheap.
Yeah, we we got a shipment last week from Fanatics. It was all for her. I think there was a hat in there for me, and everything else was for her.
Yeah. It makes him feel better about not having jerseys he can buy. So I have lots of hockey sweatshirts and hoodies.
Right.
No, people don't have favorite cats. Come on. No.
I know Bear and Shadow have put Pixel out, though.
Mm-hmm.
They decided they'd had enough of her.
Yeah.
So Pixel doesn't really come in here anymore, and Pixel doesn't really purr when I'm around her at all anymore. She's stopped because Shadow and Bear have put the run on her.
Yeah. Which is too bad. She follows me all day long. If I sit down, she's on my lap. I don't even have to be like all the way sitting down, but she will be.
You're going to be
on
fine.
Me.
You're going to be fine. I'm going to put you down, okay?
These cats are so spoiled.
You don't need to panic. I'm going to put you down. Don't look alarmed. Don't give me that look. Just, you're fine. She's giving me the you just put me down look. You can see it in the camera.
I don't think the cats do need jerseys. I think Shannon likes to keep his arms.
I don't think that would go well.
Which kitty would win in a fight? Probably Lily Bell.
Or Pixel.
Shadow's a big wuss.
Although Bear is underrated. Bear's underrated. Bear knows you have to get the high ground.
That's true.
She slaps pretty good.
It wouldn't be Shadow, though.
No.
He might be the biggest. It would not be Shadow.
She puts the run on him every night. I have to convince him he's fine. Just stay away from his sister. Because when it's bedtime, she chases him out of the room like, okay, this is when you leave.
Go away.
This is your time to go away. And
They're
he runs off.
Now.
And then he goes and picks a fight with Lily Bell.
Does Pedersen make more money than Barzal?
I'll say that he probably does. I'll say that next year when Pedersen's up, I'll say he probably makes more money from the Canucks. I think he's going to produce more points than Barzal. And I think that he'll probably get more term as well. I'll say the Canucks end up giving him a 4 or 5 year term instead of the 3 that Barzal got.
It's cold. Okay.
It's not cold in here.
Cats are the main reason I tuned in.
That's the main reason I have a channel is the cats.
Cat channel.
There really is, there's no fancy green screens. There's no fancy nothing. I got cats. So people are like, well, I don't know. I can watch all these YouTube, but if I watch this, my kids enjoy me watching it because there's cats in the background. So, because I've seen that comment, which is, I like your videos and my kids love your cats. So it just works. People can watch them with their kids that way.
How long have we been together?
Oh,
forever.
God.
No, not.
It just never ends. It's like you wake up and you go, and still here.
Oh, he's so warm though.
Yeah.
That's why we're together. He's nice and warm.
Iceberg fingers here. Okay.
He's
all
nice
right.
And warm.
Okay. Why don't you just stick them in the heater?
My personal heater. Well, I have my feet at the heater. My feet are so cold.
We've been together for less time than the channel's been around. Before I went out on the first date with her, there were people that were subscribers at the time. It was a very, very small channel at that point, like 100, 150, 200, when her and I started talking about it. And
I can remember when the channel hit 1,000.
There were people that were concerned that if I got a girlfriend, I'd stop making videos. That as soon as I got a girlfriend, I'd stop making videos. That didn't turn out to be the case.
But when we met, your channel was really, really tiny. And we met before you made any kind of income on your channel.
Yeah,
because I can remember you being so excited when you got your first YouTube check.
Because you had to cross $100 before you got anything. So it took more than a month for me to get there, and then I got paid out. Yeah, that was fun. That first time that I realized, hey, I made money and it wasn't doing something that I hated to do. That was the first time in my life that had happened. So that was kind of fun.
You guys seem to click really well. We do get along really well. It's nice. It's really fun.
Kind of.
But
gets kind of tiring.
He's a brat, and at least he's cute though. So there's that.
I had a dream last night that when I dream that it's like the Good Place, so I could just speak things into existence. And I had like my own Janet, except it was Meredith. It was some blonde girl named Meredith. and there was a little kitten. You know those stubby-legged little kittens? Those
That
little
are all
stubby-legged
over
little kittens
Instagram.
on Instagram. And there was a stubby-legged little kitten, and it's coming over at me. I'm like, I want 100 of these. And then there were 100 of them. So here I am in a dreamland where I can think of anything that I want and I can have it. And I'm like, I want 100 kittens.
That would so be a thing too. If Shannon had that power,
that's how you can tell I'm old.
So many cats.
Teenage Shannon would have wished for something different. This Shannon goes, I'll just take a bunch of kittens.
Shannon? Huh?
As a teenager? Hockey cards. We're on hockey cards. Would have been hockey cards when I was a teenager.
Meredith from The Office.
That's the thing too. I thought when I woke up, I thought, why would her name have been Meredith? I don't know if you'd want Meredith to be your Janet, because that could go badly.
That would be really funny.
Meredith, I'd like this. Yeah, good luck. And then she disappeared. No, that's why?
Yes, he is my brat. Nice warm brat.
Okay. All right then.
Do you think New Jersey could sign Howard as a backup, or they're better off with Wedgwood?
I would probably take Wedgwood ahead of it. Howard had a really poor season for Detroit. I mean, he's not retired yet, but I don't know. I think that they would probably be working the phones a little bit right now, but I think they'll go into the season with Wedgwood and Blackwood and see how it goes. I mean, they've had Wedgwood in their system before, right? So it's not like they don't know the goaltender, and it's not like New Jersey's planning a Stanley Cup run this year anyways.
Have you heard anything about the new Caps jersey?
Nothing. I haven't heard anything other than there was supposed to be one coming. I haven't heard anything more about it.
I'm excited for Monday. My Sharks Reverse Retro with Timo Meier comes in.
Yeah, this is a jersey that would be nice with a name and number on it. I'm not gonna deny that. And it is one of those jerseys that looks better in person. Definitely.
Oh, somebody wants to know what's on the TV. He was watching football.
Right now I think it's the pregame for the next game, which is going to be Tampa Bay against the Washington Kevin Malones. So let me just go ahead and put this up. This is from the other channel. These are the games for this weekend. So since Washington doesn't have a logo, I've got Kevin Malone, and I used a picture where he looks like he's very self-certain. Like, yeah, I'm awesome. I did that. So they're playing against Tampa Bay next. And then tonight, it's that one's tonight, and then it's Seattle and the Rams is up next. Why were they advertising this one as next? It's this one that's next, and then that one. Yvonne's just really excited. Yvonne's just really excited. No, because these games, they don't overlap, so it's a game, then a game, then a game.
Gosh,
for the entire weekend. So this one's done.
So you can have to watch football all the time.
This one's done.
Yeah.
So Indianapolis is officially kaput. They're done. No more Colts. So the Bills move on. I guess I can. No, I don't need to.
Are they finishing football for the year?
What do you mean? This is the playoffs.
Like that. Okay. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah. So, but you can watch the Browns and the Steelers with me tomorrow. Did you?
No.
Or were you wanting to watch this one tomorrow?
I don't know what teams those are.
Saints and the Bears. This is the Bears.
What? That's a lame logo for Bears.
This is the Browns.
No,
Ravens.
Those are orange.
Browns.
Orange.
Titans. It's Tennessee Titans right there.
Silliness. Do you think Jordan Binnington will rebound from last season?
He's a good goaltender. I don't know if he's an elite level goaltender. We'll see that this year. Vancouver definitely had a book on him in that round. And for him to really reach that level where he is a legit top 10 goalie in the league, he has to fix the flaws that the Canucks exposed, or it could be a really long season for the Blues and for Binnington. That's the trick. Rookie goaltenders, they have that first run through the league. They look great. It's the subsequent years where you find out how good they are.
NFL right behind bowling.
There's nothing wrong with the
funny.
NFL.
There is, but Oilers power play is going to be deadly, according to Tyson Barrie.
Well, Barrie helps. Barry's that power play point guy they've needed. So, I mean, if Barrie is as good as advertised, yeah, that'll help. The thing is, it was something that didn't really work for him in Toronto, so we'll see.
Too many people in here. Lars says, yeah, there's a couple of people.
That's because the season's coming. People get all excited because the season's coming.
Hockey again.
Season's in 4 days. And then they see last on the title of the live stream and probably figure that's it. Shannon's shutting down the live stream, which is not what I'm doing at all.
No.
But keep in mind, during the season, we will not be live streaming during games.
Right.
So that will limit when I'm going to be able to live stream. It'll probably be earlier in the day.
Yes.
And, before the games get going. And on weekends, that could be tough because Saturdays and Sundays, very often you'll have games from the start of the day till the end.
All day long. Really enjoy your channel.
Thank you. Greatly appreciated.
With the addition of Krug and Hoffman, are the Blues the best offensive team in the NHL?
Top 5. I'll say top 5. I think Pittsburgh has the potential to be the best offensive team in the league. Colorado has that as well. But yeah, I'd say St. Louis probably in the top 5.
Does Puljujarvi score 20 goals this season?
He won't be able to do that on the third line. If he's on the third line, 20 goals is probably too much to ask. If we see Puljujarvi work his way up through the lineup and end up getting top 6 minutes, yes, but not as a third liner.
Do we have dogs too? We have 4 cats, 3 kids, and a rabbit. We do not have.
And even when I have a dream, it's about having 100 more kittens.
For a dog, it would not be fair to the dog, and we have a certain child that would not be very good with a dog.
No.
So, as much as both of us love dogs, it's not something we can do right now.
Nope.
It would not be fair to the dog.
Nope.
My mom has a dog. Does that count? She sends me pictures of the dog all the time. Adelaide does video calls with my mom's dog. Will there be a big trade at the deadline?
Probably. I'll say that as the season goes along, teams are going to start planning for Seattle. So we'll probably see some big trades with the Seattle expansion in mind. Likely to see some of those around deadline as well. And then, of course, once the season's done, it should be open season for trades. There should be lots of trading going on before Seattle makes their picks.
Do rabbits and cats coexist peacefully? Yes.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
There's
our bunnies usually in a hutch outside. Adelaide brings the bunny in all the time, though. And the bunny likes to be under the tree with Pixel. Pixel would rather she wasn't. She puts up with it. Lilybell does not care at all about
Shadow's
the rabbit.
fascinated by the rabbit.
Shadow tries to look for the bunny when the bunny's outside.
Shadow is so absolutely fascinated by the bunny rabbit. I don't know whether he hates it or he just doesn't know what it is.
What? They know it's not a cat, though.
Yeah, they do know it's not a cat.
Lilybell is so indifferent.
Yeah, she doesn't care.
With the rabbit, it's kind of funny. Yep. She does not care, and the rabbit likes to lay right next to her, and Lilybell does not care.
Because she knows it's not a cat.
If it was a cat, she'd care. Since it's the bunny, no, doesn't care. In a playoff series between the Leafs and the Habs, who would win?
That'd be close. I would say Leafs because they have to win a series at some point. Right? They can't just keep losing series. And I would say that Montreal is still a year or two away from being a really good playoff team, probably. So I would take the Leafs, but it would be close. Probably be a 7-game series, and the whole country go nuts about it if that happened.
Oh, the bunny's name is Raspberry. I just usually call her Bunny. Her name is Raspberry, though. Will you ever hold the rabbit during a hockey video?
We did that one live stream out in the backyard at the old house.
Yeah,
where I
we've
was holding
done
her.
little videos of the bunny hopping around. The bunny does like being held if she's held really snugly.
Yeah.
She's the
But she
most
doesn't come down
chill
here.
bunny ever.
So she doesn't come down here.
No.
She doesn't like, this is all hardwood floor. She doesn't like that on her toes, on her feet.
She doesn't like
So
slippery floor.
yeah, it wouldn't work at all for her down here. And I don't know how Bear would react. I'm getting a death glare from Bear right now just talking about the bunny rabbit. So I don't know what kind of reaction I'd get from them if she was down in her lair. Or shut down in their lair. I guess hers, sure, it's Bear's. Bear owns the downstairs. It's hers. Shadow's just allowed to exist in it.
With Crawford retired, Brat and Nico out, are the Devils completely screwed?
Early on, kind of. Although Crawford was being brought in to be a backup and to be a mentor more than he was for anything else. So I still think Blackwood was being counted on to probably play upwards of 40 games this year anyways. I don't know that they're necessarily screwed, but I didn't see them as a playoff team in the first place. So I don't think there's a lot of pressure on the Devils to necessarily get a lot better this year, especially with the division they're in.
And Shannon does not hate the Leafs. That's not a thing.
At my last count, I have 18 Leafs jerseys.
It's a stupid amount.
I have 18.
He definitely
my
doesn't
last
hate
count.
them.
And I have another one coming because they're having a 40% off sale right now on 40% off sale on Pro Hockey on all the Adidas that aren't retro reverse. And I always, anytime I wear this, people will say, why does the Tavares jersey have an A? He's a captain. You need a new one. So I just for 40% off, I'll just get the other one. I'm not ripping the A off this.
Do most people do that with jerseys? I have to get a new jersey now.
You would be surprised.
Aren't they expensive for everybody else too?
Or they rip the A off and they put a C on it. But
no,
I don't.
It has glue on. Don't do that.
Yeah, I don't want
Jerseys are expensive. You can't just buy a new one. I mean,
they do.
I
though.
can't. But maybe if you can.
They do though.
That's your thing.
So it would be nice to be able to wear the white Leafs jersey without somebody
whining about it.
Poking at the A on the Tavares.
People are whiny.
And I mean, I have the FNUF with a C on it, but they always get mad when I wear the FNUF because they say that I'm trolling them because I'm wearing a Dion Phaneuf jersey. Reality is I got the Dion Phaneuf jersey for $40 because it was a Dion Phaneuf jersey. I would have had to pay $150 for the blank. I paid $40 because it had Phaneuf's name on it. Because it's the Dion Phaneuf
That's
jersey.
why there's a lot of jerseys with players that have been traded on them.
Mm-hmm.
Lots.
That's way cheaper. And I'm like, okay, I'll just take that for a quarter of the price.
Why are Canadian teams only playing Canadian teams?
Because the border's closed.
Yes.
Borders closed. There's no way. The Canadian government was not going to allow the NHL to play if all the American teams were coming in. You cannot say that the border's closed and then have NHL teams crossing the border every other day. So that's just, they had to make sure that they were just Canadian teams versus Canadian teams.
My sister has a bunny that lived 13 years unexpectedly. Cool, gentle pet. Yeah, bunnies much older than the cats. And she's so chill. But yeah, sometimes they don't live as long. We've had some that didn't live as long. But she's doing good. She's a tiny bunny too.
She's a happy bunny.
She's so small. Very, very petite.
What do you want?
Bunny.
What are you after?
Which rookies cracked the Panthers roster this year?
Denisenko, Tippett are your two most likely. It's probably going to be those two. I don't think they're going to have a rookie on the blue line. It'll probably be Denisenko and Tippett up front, and Tippett should be, if you're looking for a Calder favorite, Tippett's probably going to get prime minutes.
Are the Golden Knights still over the cap?
I think so. But they can get under it before camp. A lot of teams that are over the cap right now, or not before camp, before opening night. A lot of teams are over the cap right now. They're just going to have to waive some players and get under the cap. It'll happen. I don't know what she was after.
Can Keondre Miller make opening lineup?
It sounds like it. David Quinn's been very impressed with him so far. Definitely for the Rangers. there's that spot on the blue line if he wants it, and it looks like he's going to grab it. So it'll be interesting to see how that blue line works. Some interesting storylines with the Rangers right now, and that blue line is right at the top of it.
Any videos on the kitties' biographies?
I mean, I've done videos of the cats on the Entertainment Guy, but actual biographies, there's not much to tell. With Shadow and Bear,
spoiled kitties.
a former coworker of mine found them in the middle of the street when they were little baby kittens. They were probably 2-3 weeks old. And then I got them only because I was the only one willing to take Shadow. Everybody wanted Bear because she was a beautiful little kitten. Nobody wanted the black cat. And my coworker wanted them both to go to the same house. So I volunteered to take both because I don't have a problem with black cats. And I know it is harder to find a home for black cats.
Whenever there's cats that need a home, Shannon will totally take the kitties that are homeless. How are our kids so well behaved?
Oh, God, that's funny.
Oh, my gosh, it's so funny.
That is funny. Nope. Nope.
Our children are very far from well behaved. They don't walk in here. Adelaide does frequently walk in. Adelaide's bedroom is right there. She frequently walks in, and she's pretty good at staying off camera.
Did you ever find the spider she said she found in the bathroom? Because I never saw it.
No, I think it was a beetle. I did find a beetle.
Oh, okay.
Like a little leaf bug, so I put him outside. When he does the PlayStation 4 videos, Adelaide frequently walks in on those because she comes over and she gets really excited when anybody mentions that she's in the video. The boys don't. We're in the downstairs of our house, and so there's no reason for our boys to come down here.
Nope.
So that's why they never walk in. But you can frequently hear them yelling at each other or thumping. I'm not sure
on the table.
If they're dancing upstairs or
they run around the house.
But you can hear them thumping. Yeah,
so those were laser guns they got yesterday?
Yeah, isn't that nice? Isn't that awesome? And they were given 2 laser guns, which doesn't work really well when there's 3 children.
Goody.
So.
All right. Cool. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So I have to buy a 3rd laser gun then.
No, we don't.
I'm just saying, we have 3 kids. There's 2 laser guns. It's not going to work.
Or the laser guns can disappear. No.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the laser guns already, but I mean, they're better than Nerf guns because then there's not
the
things
Nerf guns
actually being shot.
I had to confiscate the Nerf guns. I'd had enough of the Nerf guns. They had to be confiscated.
Who gave him laser guns? An aunt. An aunt who does not have children, let alone teenage boys, sent them laser guns.
Yep.
Yeah. Do I watch hockey games with you? In person, but normally no, because Shannon's obnoxious to watch hockey with.
If there's 8 games on, I flip between the 8 games.
I watch hockey on a different TV, and I don't care about watching all of the games.
Nope.
There are only certain teams that I like watching. There's a lot of games that I would have absolutely no interest in.
I watch all of it.
But Shannon has to flip through and watch the different games. I don't, so I usually watch upstairs on that TV. Yeah. So not really, unless we go to a game, then we watch together.
Pro Hockey Life has a 40% off sale. It's in Canada though, and I'm pretty sure they don't ship to the States. But even like the Dallas neon green black jersey, that's on for 40% off. The brand new Buffalo blue jersey, the royal blue, 40% off. They're just getting rid of all the stock, except the reverse retros are full price.
Do you get bored of hockey ever? You cover so much.
Yeah. During the regular season, there are certain points where I get burnt out. There are times where I'll go to Yvonne and say, so there's more games starting, and
when it's all day, there will be like days
where like it starts at 9 in the morning and then at 7:30 at night, there's another game starting, and it's like, all right, I'm going to do it. I get through it. I watch them all. But yeah, there are times where I'm kind of hockeyed out. So it definitely means that one thing that's changed with all the hockey that I watch and cover, I'm not as enthusiastic now when I watch hockey games as I used to be. Say 10 years ago, I'd get really into it and really excited and really angry. I don't get that way anymore. So if a team I cheer for loses in overtime, I just go, all right, so I got to go to the other game. And I move on and finish up the board, that part of the review, and just keep going. So it's kind of taken some of the emotion out of it, but that's okay. It's part of the channel.
Have either of us ever been to Europe? Yes,
She has.
I have.
I've heard about Europe. I've watched plenty of movies from Europe. I've watched movies about Europe. I've watched movies shot in Europe. I know about the Eiffel Tower in Italy. I know about the Leaning Tower of Pisa. That's in Belgium.
Torque.
I know about what's that other thing? The big old
something stupid.
The big old Moscow with that Taj Mahal looking thing.
Shannon.
No, they have.
Anyways, keep moving on.
Well, I know Europe.
No.
I know Europe.
No.
I know very well.
Anyways, hockey has changed too much.
Hockey's always changing. Hockey is. You watch a hockey game when they were shut down and they were showing games from the 80s. It is really hard for me to watch games from the 80s now. It's a completely different game where you're like, okay, there's no structure to this offense and defense. There was no structure. It looks like a game of shinny now compared to the amount of structure we have in the game now. And that's only going to continue. We're going to continue to see things change. Every time a team figures out a way to score, another team's going to figure out a way to stop that.
Do you have all the reverse retros?
I do not have Buffalo. Buffalo is supposed to arrive, according to Canada Post.
Oh, has it shipped?
Yeah, it's supposed to arrive on opening night.
Have you ever been to Dallas, or do you want to?
I want to. We haven't been. At the time of everything getting shut down, one trip that I've been looking at was that it was possible, and it was relatively cheap, to fly to Vegas, to Dallas, Florida, and then come back.
Oh, I'm out of yarn.
So I had the idea of us going through and doing a trip that way at some point. Of course, the world kind of closed, so that got put on the shelf.
Why have you never been in Europe? It has a medieval feeling to it and much different than America. You know, have money for it being a YouTuber. Okay, first off, people think we make way more.
And then we have kids, and flying to Europe is logistically much, much different than crossing the border, which is right here, to go to the States.
We can drive to the States.
Like, we can leave home at 6 a.m. and be in Vegas, and I can be shooting videos 8 hours later. And it's a completely different experience than Europe is just logistically.
And when
so
we
much more
fly to like Vegas or California, we don't even fly from Canada. We drive across the border and we fly from Seattle because it's way, way cheaper.
It's like
$100.
Fly
to Europe, it's so much more expensive.
Flying to Vegas is like maybe $100.
Plus,
the hotels start at like $60 a night.
3 kids.
Like, the hotels in Vegas are cheap. They're cheap because they want you to gamble and they want you to drink. Yeah. So they give you the room for cheap, and then they encourage you to drink and gamble. And we just don't drink and gamble. Either. So it's actually a much cheaper trip than going to Vancouver.
Way cheaper.
If we stayed a weekend in Vancouver, it'd be more expensive, way more expensive than a weekend in Vegas.
Yeah. And it's only recently that we've even been able to afford to go to Vegas. And that's pretty darn new.
That's the only place we've really gone other than California because it's cheap. And even California was cheap.
That's only been, like a year and a half that we've been able to afford to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Europe is an expensive trip. And it's a lot. The logistics of that. Remember, we got 3 kids. So either we're dragging them with us to Europe, which doesn't sound like fun, or we have to have them at their dad's, and we have to it just logistically it's a nightmare. Vegas is way easier.
For all the questions of have you been to this place, generally the answer is no. So back to the we've barely traveled anywhere. We've gone. Why? We've drove to Spokane, and of course we've been to
Idaho.
Seattle.
We went to Idaho.
It didn't really count as Idaho. We've been to Oregon, not Portland, but we've been to Oregon.
I went to Portland once.
We
back in the
drove
80s.
around. I've been to Portland, but together. We've been to Disneyland and we've been to Vegas.
Yeah, we went to Oregon for
that's the extent of our traveling.
For the solar eclipse, we went to Oregon. And even that was a nightmare to put together. That was a pain.
Yeah.
Because we had to stay overnight in Oregon and then we had to drive home, which the traffic
and
drive home
everybody else went to Oregon as well.
That was the worst trip. That was the worst drive. And it was funny because Google Maps.
We've never been to Los Angeles.
Technically we have because we drove through LA.
No, we didn't.
To get to Anaheim.
No, we didn't.
From the airport.
No.
That was LA.
We didn't go to the LA airport because that one was ridiculous and I saw how bad the traffic was. We did not fly to LA.
Sure we went through
did
LA.
Not.
I'm pretty sure.
Nope. We went to John Wayne, which is not in LA.
I'll ask Wild Wing.
I have never been in LA. I've been to the New York airport.
We flew over LA.
And
we saw LA from the sky.
Airport in Georgia because I flew to France.
We went over LA. Does that count?
Never been to the Ontario airport in Canada.
I lived in Ontario when I was like this big.
I've been quite around BC and I've been a decent amount of Alberta.
I've never been to Prince George.
That's as far as that goes. I have.
No, I've
there's a lot of bugs and bears.
Been to Edmonton twice.
How do we like our healthcare up here? It's great.
It's nice. It's
really nice not having to do are we sick enough? Is my child injured enough that we should go to the ER? Do I want to pay?
Yeah, I mean,
if this is something serious.
Other than an ambulance ride, you don't have to pay for anything. An ambulance ride's only $75.
And the last 2 times that I've had to do an ambulance ride, we didn't have to pay for that either. So, ever plan on coming to Michigan, aka home of Modano?
At some point, we'll do the East Coast swing. It's going to be a couple years, though. All of that's been pushed back. The whole pandemic thing pushed everything backwards. Because it financially hit us really hard last March and April. And then, of course, with the shutdowns and everything else being closed, it's pushed everything back that we were going to do.
Any plans of visiting India in the future? Amazing food and sights.
I know Yvonne would love that.
That would be awesome.
Yvonne would be very happy.
Ever been to Victoria? Yep.
I haven't, which is sad because I have family that's on the island.
That is sad. I've been to Victoria. Back when I was younger, when I was 19 or 20, my friends and I were super awesome and just would go places that we could just go to for the day. So one day I remember taking the ferry and we went to Victoria and we did the wandering around. We didn't have a car with us. We just did the walk on the ferry and walked around Victoria. Yeah.
It's interesting. I've got family in St. John's and I got family that's on the West Coast too. So my family protects Canada. I like it. That's nice. I'm on this border to protect this side of it.
Is Canada much different than America? Asking as someone from Holland.
It's chill. Canada's a lot like the States. There are
some huge differences.
It's a lot like the States, but the way I've put it is Canada just seems to be more chill.
We're the less angry version.
We're more chill. It's the only way I could put it.
And we have better food.
That depends. I mean, they raised with it. They would probably not enjoy our food as much as theirs if they were here. So, yeah.
I hope the new year is huge for THG and family.
Hopefully. We have our fingers crossed on that too.
We're not supposed to go to Surrey.
We can't visit people. Not allowed to visit people.
I haven't been to Surrey in forever.
Yeah.
It's sad.
We haven't been anywhere in a long time.
I know.
I want to have a meetup. So I got new netting for our hockey net.
I'm gonna go get some more yarn. I'll be right back.
Hold on. I got new netting for my hockey net in our yard here. I've got another hockey net coming, and I've got one of those backstop things with the targets for the hockey net. So I'll have 2 hockey nets. The idea being we can bring them somewhere for a meetup as soon as it's allowed. But I'm fingers crossed that'll be sometime later on in the spring, I hope. And yes, Canada, the wilderness. You want wilderness? Canada is your place, especially BC. BC, there's so much fantastic.
Very beautiful
Capilano.
world.
Capilano. If you go to Vancouver, you go to the Capilano Park. You go to the trees,
Yes.
the huge Capilano suspension
The
bridge, and all that
trees.
stuff.
We have trees everywhere. So
We have the canopy walk where you're at the top of them. Before you get to the bridge.
Yeah, pass
You
on
know
that.
the bridge you want to walk across.
I don't.
So
There is definitely skiing.
And then there's
in
Whistler.
Canada.
Whistler's fantastic.
We have lots of skiing.
Yes.
Even here where it barely snows, but we can drive.
You drive to Whistler.
Snow.
Whistler gets a ton of snow.
Our kids homeschool, so
Yes.
yes, so they school at home. They don't do it in person. Well, in person with me. So yeah.
Which is a whole other.
Have you been to Toronto, Ottawa, and Montreal? Nope.
There you go.
Like I said, if the question is, have you been to? The answer is probably no.
Oh,
We've
I'll be right back.
done-
Something arrived for Yvonne. She's going to be excited about, and people can watch her unbox this and see what excites her.
Oh no! What is it? Is it something like with ducks on it or penguins? Usually when he talks like that, it's something lame. Well, I can't read the super chats until he reappears. Hold on, let me join my yarn. Well, you're a humble resource teacher. Awesome. What am I drinking? I have red velvet tea. It's like a dessert tea. It's really good.
Okay, this is ridiculous.
Where did we meet? Online.
This is
Because
ridiculous.
we don't like people, so online's the thing to do. Where'd you put your scissors? Not where they go.
Okay.
See if
I'm
they
hearing
were
a lot
where
of complaining. I'm not hearing a lot of solutions.
they were where they belong.
They are
I
where
could
they belong.
hand
Where
you
I
your-
put 'em. See,
Okay,
I found 'em.
Islanders, Leaf, SCF, the Leo Komarov showdown.
Oh, can you imagine the Leafs in the finals? That'd be huge for the NHL. Okay.
Have we been to Abbotsford? Like today?
If I
Have
step
you been to
outside-
Chilliwack?
I grew
Have
up.
you ever been to Chilliwack?
I grew up in Chilliwack. I was there for
Ever?
40 years.
Forever.
And it's too bad because now I feel like an old man because I can talk about how nice the town used to be and how much I
The
used to
new
love it.
D&D book. The boys would be so excited if it was a D&D book.
Here you go.
Why is this box big like this? What is this? Yay! It's a new rolling pin. It's really cold. Yay! My rolling pin was really old and it broke.
See? Told you it was nerdy.
Yay! Oh, and it has the rings. Nice.
Here, do you want me to put
Maybe
that
I'll
out
make
here?
like pie or something.
See?
Hold on, I'll be back.
And that's how an Avon unboxing works. And this is why she'll say she doesn't need to
Yay.
have her own channel.
A rolling pin. Mine.
Really? A
I
dance
have-
for a rolling pin?
I have the rolling pin that was my grandmother's, and it's one of those old wood ones. And the handle like broke off, and then there was a washer in there that it was on, and the washer fell out, and I don't know where it is, and so now it doesn't roll straight, and it's really
Is that the
difficult.
one you
So
sent me the link to?
I don't remember.
Okay, because I know I got you the nicest one I could find. I'm pretty sure that's the one you sent me the link to.
It looks like what I was asking for. So
It's huge.
okay,
So
I know, but you don't want the really light ones. Those are a pain.
I know.
And I'd like hurt
whatever
my
stops
wrist.
your whining.
Brad? How many points will Pedersen, Besser, and Hughes get this year? Also, Happy New Year from St. John, New Brunswick.
No, there it's just St. John. I don't think it's St. John. It's St. John's
St.
when you're in
John.
Newfoundland. Okay, points for Pedersen, I'll say 60. For Hughes, I'll say 40, 45. For Besser, hopefully 50, and hopefully 20 of those are goals. Because hopefully he plays the whole season.
It is a huge box for a rolling pin.
Yeah. And that's Amazon. Keep that in mind
Oh
when
my
they talk
gosh.
about how they're really pro-environment.
What was it
No,
I
they're
got
not.
last week? That it was a huge box and it felt empty, and I opened it up and it was something small.
Yeah.
What did they run out of?
Their
the normal-
packaging is ridiculous.
Just could have gone in an envelope.
Yeah, Amazon packaging is ridiculous.
Shannon does wear hats all day. Not when he sleeps, though. That wouldn't be very comfortable.
That's right. That's when I wear my sleeping cap.
It's hard to not look menacing while holding a rolling pin in one hand. And that's a heavy one, too.
That is a hefty rolling pin.
That's a heavy rolling pin, which is
You're
nice. Then I won't have to kill my
sure
wrist.
The kids don't go after each other with that.
Because
if it can be a weapon, it is a weapon.
Pin. I'll just threaten them.
Kids.
I'll just threaten them. That usually works.
Does it, though?
No,
they ate some of your cake last night after you told them not to.
They don't listen to anything I say, so.
This is true.
I don't think I've ever seen Shannon without a hat. Sometimes,
I don't think Yvonne's ever seen me without a hat.
Whatever. I've posted pictures on the cat's Instagram before.
Yes.
And I think he's been in videos on the other channel without a hat, like when we were outside.
That's happened.
It's not often because he does usually wear a hat.
I like to have a hat that matches the jersey. It's fun. It's more fun that way.
Shannon's looking stronger. Does he lift weights? He doesn't.
I carry her around.
Well, he does. It's so obnoxious. Here. No, he thinks it's so funny.
It is.
How he can just totally manhandle me, and here you're going over here now.
Where would you
can't
like
even
to go?
dead weight. And he just still.
She tried to do that. Tries to dead weight, and I just picked her right up, carried her around.
And it doesn't help that the boys think it's hysterical.
Oh, the kids come running
they
as soon as I pick you up.
They're giggling.
They know what I'm doing.
Oh my gosh!
I can carry her from one room to the other.
Kids
it's so funny. I just pick her up in the kitchen and carry her to the sewing room. Go, well, I figured you wanted to be in here anyway. So it's like the cats. I'm just helping them out. So, all right, let's show them. Let's show the good people.
No.
Okay, let's show the good people. Is this a challenge?
No.
You making it a challenge?
Shannon.
Come on.
No.
You making it a challenge?
No.
Okay. Nope. Oh, no. That's it.
No. No. Oh, hatless, the chicken video. Yeah, I knew there was one that we did outside that he was not wearing a hat, and I couldn't remember which one it was.
It's not a big deal because I'm bald, so it's like Simon Miller under there, so it really doesn't matter. At some point, I'll get a long-haired wig, and I'll do a video wearing a long-haired wig and throw my hair back, but I'm not there yet.
He pretends he has hair. Yeah, he blows his bangs out of his eyes.
I used to have to do that, you know. Back in the day when I had feathered hair.
Just
back in the 80s.
That. Just picture Shannon with a mullet, a blonde
mullet. Yeah.
It's nice.
I used the Sun-In. That Sun-In stuff. You know, that fries your hair, makes it dead. But it's blonde. So, yeah, it's great. And then I have to wait for it to grow out because, yeah, it just looked like crap. I did the 80s perm, too. When guys were getting the 80s perms, I did that. Not just on top, but like all over. I had the whole. So.
Oh, goodness. Sun-In, I remember that. I tried Sun-In once, but I had like white hair when I was a kid, so.
Don't do both.
I don't know why.
Don't do Sun-In and the perm. Your hair will be dead.
They would fry it.
I did. I did fry it.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Because I thought, you know, if I could, I've got the dirty blonde going on now. If I could just curl this would be styling. And it really, really wasn't. Really wasn't. My jersey total. I'm going to say over 400.
Amounts.
I'm going to say over 400.
It's a lot.
I was going to do a countdown. I'm still planning to do the countdown this coming off season. But it's going to be a long enough countdown that it'll probably span the time from the Stanley Cup being awarded to, I'll say, the start of training camp for the following season.
Shannon doesn't have any pictures of him in his 20s. I used aloe vera on my hair more than once.
I used to use... there was the one time I was doing I'm trying to remember what it was for. And I had to have my hair like slicked back. Yeah. And I was doing some kind of drama thing, but I used Vaseline.
Oh, that doesn't wash out. That doesn't wash out. I know because Malachi got into it once when he was little.
I didn't realize.
His dad was on the Chesterfield.
I didn't realize how bad that was.
Malachi was on the side, and Malachi got into Vaseline. It was everywhere on the Chesterfield, all in his hair.
Yeah,
his dad's just sitting there. Oh, it was so hard to get that out. Oh,
it doesn't come out. Because I had to, slick the hair back and around.
Ew.
It was I think it was some 50s day at school. There was some kind of greaser thing at school. And I was like, okay. So my mom and I thought, hey, this would be cool. We'll get me in a white t-shirt and the blue jeans and we'll slick the hair back.
Ew.
And then that doesn't come out.
Ew, that'd be so bad. No, see how you said
there's no pictures of that. It never happened.
I have pictures of me as a teenager.
Yeah, you do.
I used to do the where you'd hold your hair up like this and then you spray it with hairspray so that then your hair.
You did have a crimper.
I did have a crimper, but I very rarely crimp my hair. But I had the where you do and you'd spray it. Yeah, that was my hair.
That's right. Yeah, that was the 50s day we had. I had a leather jacket too, but it was my Michael Jackson Beat It jacket, so that didn't really work very well. I had the black Beat It jacket, but it didn't really. That wasn't going to work.
I also wore Jenko jeans. Totally did that.
Oh,
wore my Jenkos,
man.
Because I dressed kind of goth in high school. I know people are going to be super shocked.
I did. I was too old for that. By the time goth became a thing, I was long.
I was in high school in the 90s, so
yeah, I was long graduated when the goth thing happened.
No,
we had one goth girl, I think, in my school.
There was only a few of us.
there was one or two, and they always seemed to be the pale girls that were the goth too.
Yeah, it works out well.
The ones that really had that pale skin, they almost looked like vampires.
Yeah. And I'm naturally pale, so it worked just fine. It was no. But when I was in high school,
they'd always be off in the corner on their own.
When you're all super pale, I
think maybe it came from Breakfast Club. Maybe it was like Ali Sheedy and Breakfast Club caused the whole thing.
When you're really pale and the goth thing was a thing, you'd get the white makeup from like Halloween and you could add that to other makeup so it would make you more pale. Not that I needed to look more pale, but
the Rams are winning the game of possession, but they're not getting enough.
And then I dyed my hair purple. I did that as well. I never did the black hair. That would look really bad on me. But yeah, Jenkos. I totally wore Jenkos, and I did listen to Korn and Marilyn Manson and Tool and Bush.
See, my grad year was the year of CNC Music Factory.
And I still listen to all of those.
I tuned out of music
I don't have
in
Jenkos
1991.
anymore, though.
1991, music was CNC Music Factory and Vanilla Ice and all that. So I started listening to Zeppelin and the Stones, and I started listening to Pink Floyd because I really hated what music had become, and I was kind of done with it. As soon as Everybody Dance Now came out, I'm like, this isn't music. I'm done with this. This is terrible. And the whole techno thing just took me right out of music altogether for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Early 90s was a dead zone for me musically.
Still listen to those bands too. Yeah, I still don't listen to the popular music. And Shannon will say names of people or put things on. I'm so clueless about what music is now. I don't. Except
it's
for
always funny
a lot
when
of the
a song,
bands I like have been coming out with new albums, and that's great.
It's always funny when a song comes on and I'm watching a video and I can tell she's never seen it before, and I'll just start singing along.
It is so
because I know
weird.
Every word.
He will know all the words to these songs that I've never heard of. Singers that I've never. It's so weird.
Especially when it's a rap song. It's a rap song,
really
and then I know every word, and she's like, "How does he know this?" Because I still listen to that. That's part of what got me back into music was when rap started to really morph into what it became. So Cypress Hill kind of helped bring me back into it.
Love Marilyn Manson, but whenever I ask anybody if they like him, they ask, "Who's that?" What?
That's
I'm
terrible.
16. Really? Do teenagers not know who Marilyn Manson is?
That would make sense. He hasn't had like a big hit album.
He had an album came out last year.
I said big hit album. He hasn't had a big hit album in a long time.
Oh.
He is now.
He's still fun though. I mean, he's crap live. Don't see him in concert. Right. It is just so disappointing. It is the epitome of disappointing.
As uncool as you thought the old fart bands were when you were a teenager, that's how uncool people think your bands are now.
I listened to classic rock when I was in high school, so.
Not all of it.
No,
Not
not
all
all
of
of it. Some of it was lame.
So see,
But-
there's going to be people who think the bands you listen to are lame, and they would
But
rather
they're
listen to
wrong,
The Weeknd
So.
or Ariana Grande.
Oh yeah, he made me listen to The Weeknd yesterday.
That's a good
I mean,
song.
I knew the jokes about The Weeknd,
From
but
Letterkenny.
I didn't know.
That was a good song. I'm really surprised you don't recognize the lead singer though,
No,
because
didn't look familiar
he's on
at
everything
all.
right now. He's very popular,
Is he?
but she doesn't know Ariana Grande either. So
No, she's the one that has the inappropriate video that people get mad about. That's all I know about her.
no, that's not Ariana. No, Ariana
Isn't
Grande
she-
has all the F-bombs in
she-
her song,
Oh,
but the inappropriate video you're thinking
There you
of
Oh,
Cardi B.
I have no idea.
The song from, or not Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion.
Who? What? No, I don't recognize that name. I recognize the other names.
Oh,
Stallion?
Megan Thee Stallion. Yeah,
Megan the.
Thee Stallion. Megan Thee Stallion. Isn't
She's
this great?
calling herself a horse?
No,
That's her actual name?
that's anyways.
That can't be her name.
See, I listen to the same stuff she does mostly, but I also listen to everything else as well. As long as it's not country, we're good. It's when I hear that twang that I go,
Oh,
"Oh,
country's
there's country."
Do you also like grunge? I do. He does not.
Pearl Jam,
Okay, I don't like Pearl Jam. No,
Alice in Chains.
they're okay. Sorry, Shannon. Her music taste is better than yours. I know, right?
Greatest band ever is Rammstein.
Rammstein is great.
For over a year of my
Do you
life,
remember the first time that Noah got in the van and I had Rammstein in, and he was so thrown off that I had Rammstein a CD in my van? He was so
because I went over a year.
Josh,
I went over a year where I only listened to Rammstein. That's all I listened to was Rammstein.
Josh does not appreciate my taste in music at all. He lets me be well aware.
See, I remember too the first time I saw Ariana Grande, and I thought, wow, so Jessica Alba has a clone, because she looked to me so much like Jessica Alba, but it's just me, I guess. You know who Jessica Alba is, right? Fantastic Four. She's the Invisible Woman in
recognize her
Fantastic
name.
Four, the movie.
And she sings too?
No, I'm saying that
Oh,
Ariana Grande looks like
okay.
her.
does she?
Sure, it's good. It's fine. I see the resemblance
Okay.
between the two.
Oh, I don't know. Okay. Rammstein is excellent. However, I would say Iron Maiden. No,
I don't
like
mind Iron
Rammstein
Maiden.
better.
Maiden's pretty good, but I over Rammstein. I wouldn't put anybody over Rammstein. Even Tool. I love Tool. Wouldn't put him over Rammstein.
Tool is amazing.
The song Deutschland is like the greatest song ever in my eyes right now. That's Deutschland is just like the absolute greatest song. It's just so perfect from start to finish.
Earlier, we went from Paramore to DC Breaks to CCR to Reese Puff's Daft Punk mashup.
Daft
What?
Punk is awesome.
Disagree. I like
What?
Paramore and I like CCR.
I didn't say there was anything wrong with Paramore. I said Daft Punk is awesome.
And
Daft
no.
Punk is great.
No.
They're fantastic.
What's
Technologic is
your
a perfect
favorite Tool song? Mine is Vicarious. Goodness.
song. Schism.
Enema.
Schism's my favorite. Enema would be a close second.
Yeah, Enema's my all-time favorite, though I do.
For
Like,
me, Vicarious,
all
the
of
thing that
them.
held me back with Vicarious was that it reminded me too much of Schism. I thought the two were very similar in their beat and in the tone. The tune, all of it to me seemed very similar. Schism's about internal conflict and Vicarious is about external conflict and consuming it.
Sorokin will be the best Russian goalie in the EST.
It'll be interesting to see how that works out. Sorokin, Shesterkin, and Samsonov all in the same division, playing each other multiple times. Bring it on. That's definitely something that we're going to be tracking this year.
Lateralis is fantastic. I remember when that
The
came
album
out,
and the
I
song
was
are both great.
so excited when that album came out.
Lateralis is
I can remember that
one of the greatest albums. And I remember my ex didn't like Tool. So a buddy of mine came over and he picked me up. He was out with his pickup that day, and he's like, "All right, let's go for a drive." So he took me out for a drive just so I could listen to Lateralis. And we drove all around like Yarrow, Greendale, all over. And he's like, "All right, we'll just drive here and drive there." All right.
That's a long album.
I came home and I was like, "Okay, so I'm getting that album because I don't care if nobody else likes it. I love it."
Y'all like Saliva? Yes.
Saliva was good.
Yep.
Yeah, Saliva, that reminds me of like, Disturbed, Finger 11 in that same vein. Seether, who we saw live and didn't really care too much when we saw them live because we were there to see the Deads.
Well, no, their sound was off. Their balance was off, and so you couldn't really even tell what songs they were singing,
yeah, but
which really
still, we were there to see the Deads more than Seether.
But it would have been really fun. But their balance was off, so you couldn't even tell what songs they were singing, which is lame.
Except Remedy. Remedy is like absolutely just, that song cranks up. I think that was their final song, was Remedy, because that's a really good song to get the crowd revved up.
Should I draft Svechnikov or JT Miller in my fantasy league?
I would take Svechnikov ahead of JT Miller because it's going to be hard for Miller to replicate what he did last season. Svechnikov's on his way up. I think Miller's going to be a good player for Vancouver, but I don't think his points total will be as good as it was last year.
Have you seen The Hip?
I never saw them live.
Cover band.
Yeah, we had the Hip cover band a couple years ago in Abbey
for
here.
Canada Day.
For Canada Day. I never saw the Hip live.
No, they're not quite the music I listen to, so not one I would.
I appreciate the Hip, even though I was not somebody that went to their concerts or had all their albums or anything.
Who's my favorite artist? Like art as in painting?
That'd be Monet.
I was gonna say I really like Monet.
But if it's singer, it'd be Maynard.
Maynard James Keenan.
See, I know her.
Ministry is great. Metallica is not overrated.
Nope.
They're great as well. I've seen them in concert. I've seen a lot.
As long as you delete the Saint Anger album, they're great. The Saint Anger album is just stop it. We've gone in a new direction. Please stop it. Please don't. Madly in Anger.
Does Shannon have any rap albums?
Not on purpose.
I don't think so.
It was funny when my kid thought he was a really good rapper. And he rapped at me, so I turned around and rapped back, and he's like, "How did you do that?" And I'm like, "Dude, it's improv. It's just, it's just rhyming words, and I can do that." So I guess I could have won a rap battle if I'd been in that generation. I might have won a rap battle or two. But it's I have never made an album. Maybe Eminem and I can work something out. We're about the same age, so maybe we can work something out together.
Have we tried Maynard's wine? We don't.
Sadly, no. I would for Maynard though. Like if we went to Maynard's vineyard, we would totally have to at least try it. I don't like red wine at all. White wine I can stomach kind of, but white wine I liked when I hadn't tried other kinds of alcohol. And after I tried other kinds of alcohol, I went, that tastes way better than white wine. So it's harder for me to stomach wine.
Do you like John Denver?
No.
No.
Not a big fan.
Bublé collaboration.
I don't know that Mike would do a rap album. I don't know that Mike would want me collaborating with. I mean, I think he'd be honest with me and say no. I think he'd be honest and say, look, there's only a certain amount of work that a studio can do. We can't fix that. No. So I don't see any kind of collaboration going on there. We'd be more likely to do a video of us playing street hockey in front of the house than any other kind of collaboration. That'll happen at some point. If the world hadn't shut down, it would have happened already. But at some point, it'll happen.
It's funny, Yvonne, because Taylor Swift has literally done every genre: country, rock, pop, R&B, and even rap, hip hop, and indie, except your favorite. Yeah, I don't think Taylor Swift does metal. So,
You know, the nice thing too is if you don't specialize in any kind of music, then you're mediocre in all of them, aren't you? Isn't that how that works?
I didn't say it. See, Josh.
She was thinking it, so I read her mind, and I just said it. So that's what I was always told, was you got to have a specific plan or else you're just mediocre in it. So any job I had, it was get good at these things. If you try too many things at once, you're just going to be mediocre at it. So I'm sorry. I just couldn't resist because there was just so many genres in there. She ruined Pour Some Sugar on Me, which didn't make me feel good. I remember when she sang Pour Some Sugar on Me with Def Leppard, and I'm like, well, Def Leppard's dead now. Thanks. Because it was like a country-fied version of Pour Some Sugar on Me, and it was Taylor singing it. I'm like, wow, this just murders this song to death and murders it again.
Murdered it to death.
It is murdered to death by that. Yes. These
people keep asking for you to rap.
That was terrible. I don't do the whole rap thing under pressure. It's usually just something that'll come out.
Not in public.
Like I've done it with her where I'll just start rapping and she just rolls her eyes.
True.
Because as the verse goes along, the words you're using ridiculous. To rhyme get more and more of a stretch. But I've listened to new rap music. I've listened to new rap music. And a lot of it seems to do the same thing. Oh my gosh.
He puts it on sometimes. Wait, what is he saying?
What are they saying?
Did he write all these lyrics, or was it a couple guys written? Because I don't think this song makes any sense.
Wait, is he singing about a woman or about his shoes? What's going on here? I don't understand.
Good thing he has that car with him, though. Otherwise,
and then the title has nothing to do with the song whatsoever. And they just have a bunch of women and a bunch of cars, and they're all bouncing around, and then it's over, and you're like, okay, I know I'm old, but that didn't make any sense, right? Right?
It's no.
Was it not? Is it ironic?
Not a fan.
Is it like some kind of ironic humor that I'm not getting, or
no?
Do they think it makes sense?
It can't make sense to anybody. It's just random crap.
I mean, I've
reached kind of rhyme.
I've been a fan of rap music for over 30 years. I loved Run DMC.
No.
Love Cypress Hill. Sweatshop Union's fantastic. And just I've Swollen Members was another one that I liked out of Vancouver Island there. Although Mad Child apparently was kind of a dick. Who else?
Pass.
Really liked LL Cool J too back in the day. Still love LL Cool J, although now he's an actor more than a rapper. But still, he's so damn cool.
Do you like Eminem, Shannon?
Yes. I had 2 Eminem albums. It was funny because we had the Eminem show, but we had the clean version because we had little kids. And the clean version of the Eminem album just doesn't work because he swears so much.
Why is my hair pink? It's my natural hair color.
Yeah, she dyes the roots blonde. So, but yeah, I had 2 Eminem albums. His music, I don't think is as good as it used to be either. And part of this is, and I've discussed this, I think, on the Entertainment Guy before, where it sometimes seems like for some artists they're better when they're not big yet, and they're
when they're all angry.
And they're angry. Like Linkin Park for me was a good example of that. Where Linkin Park, the longer they went, the less angry they seemed,
filled with angst,
and they sort of seemed like they were pretty well comforted. Other than Chester still had the angry lyrics, and now we understand why. But the music itself really settled down, and I think that's part of it. And I think that's hurt Eminem. He's rich. He's very well off. It makes it harder to write angry rap songs when you're really well off.
Yeah, I don't listen to any of this, so.
No, you don't listen to any of the rap stuff. I used to like 50 Cent, too. Yeah. Yeah, I was a big fan of 50 Cent.
I'm sorry. No. They're talking about rap a lot. I don't know these people, so genetically modified hair is the way of the future. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an anime treatment that caused her hair to turn pink, and then she just dyes the roots blonde so that it doesn't freak people out. But it's this new anime treatment.
I'm lucky in that I have very blonde hair, so I don't have to bleach it. I did bleach my hair once when I was in my 20s because I had dark, like I dyed my hair burgundy. I had burgundy hair for quite a while, and then I had a job that they then decided that you had to have a natural hair color. After I'd already worked there for a long time, they hired me when I had burgundy hair. And then they decided, I do not watch anime, no. They decided that you had to have natural hair color. And going from a dark purpley red to blonde, I thought, I'll bleach my hair.
That sounds like
a bad idea.
At the call center when they had
No.
the call center I worked at, they had a dress code. And I figured out jerseys were dress code. So I went through the dress code and I'm like, all right, so I can wear jerseys to work. So I had the boss at one point go, you can't wear that to work. And I'm like, I can. And I showed him the dress code. They changed the dress code and added hockey jerseys to what you can't wear. And then just to get them back, I switched my shift to a casual Friday sort of shift or to a later shift so I could wear jerseys to work every day again. So I did that.
In my work, they made you had to have natural hair color and you couldn't wear cargo pants.
I didn't wear cargo pants.
I did.
See, that's the thing. I would wear dress pants and a jersey.
I totally wore cargo
because I was
pants.
like, well, I can't wear jeans, but I can wear dress pants and a nice spiffy jersey. Then he's like, well, that's just, and he'd make these excuses. I'm like, how much did your shirt cost? He'd be like, my shirt cost $40. I'm like, great, my jersey cost $120. Mine's higher class than yours, so I can go back to work then. And then he went to his bosses and got the rules changed, so I changed my shift, so I was still within the rules. Screw him.
Odds of Dylan Cozen getting 40-plus points this year.
They're good. I mean, Cousins had an amazing run for Team Canada. If he can carry any of that momentum over into the regular season, and if he can push his way into a prominent spot for Buffalo, if he can get the special teams time, he should be able to get there.
Who has NHL jerseys for 40% off?
Pro Hockey Life. Pro Hockey Life right now has them on sale for 40% off. That sale ends on, I think it's the 14th. And it's all Adidas jerseys other than the reverse retros. So regular $200, they're $120. Names on the back, regular $250. Now they're $150. Remember, if you get a name jersey from them, it's going to be the single layer. It's not the double layer twill or one of the nicer ones you're going to get from other sites. It's the same as what you get from the Adidas site itself, which is the single layer, cheaper looking name and number. What did you mess up?
No, it's
did you drop a stitch?
No,
you dropped a stitch.
I did not.
You did.
I did
now
not.
You're making a mess on my floor. Oh, stop it.
Okay.
The judge told you couldn't be doing that anymore. I'm going to talk to the judge.
Do you like the Eagles? No.
The band or the team?
I'm going to say no to both.
Well, the Philadelphia Eagles, I mean...
I'm guessing that's football, yeah?
Yeah.
Pass.
They played Carson Wentz way too long.
They were on...
I don't mind the Eagles. I had the greatest hits.
I didn't like them. They played them way too much.
I loved Heartache Tonight.
Not a fan.
I loved Heartache Tonight. That song was great.
Pass.
And I love Don Henley. Don Henley, absolutely fantastic.
The band, the Eagles. No.
Don Henley...
when was the last time you were in Newfoundland?
I was 2. I was 2 the last time I was in Newfoundland, which is too bad. Because honestly, I want to go to Newfoundland, and I even talked to a friend of mine who's a travel agent, and she said, I can get you a cheap trip in the States, but in Canada, and especially East Coast Canada, there is no such thing. It's expensive. Really expensive.
Buffalo finally won something.
Yes, they did. They took out Indianapolis, which is good because Indianapolis has been so up and down that I didn't really want to see them go to the next round anyways.
Favorite Gilligan's Island quote or episode?
Favorite episode? That's a tough call.
I just did those stitches.
Favorite episode of Gilligan's Island? Do you have a favorite episode?
No, I don't.
Didn't you watch Gilligan's Island?
I did, but I was little, so I don't actually remember specific episodes.
There's the one with the doctor. I know there was one where they almost got off the island.
Weren't there quite a few?
That the doctor had it figured out, and Gilligan screwed the damn thing up.
The professor?
Yeah, the professor. And I'm trying to remember which one that was, and I know that was the theme of almost every episode.
That's what I was.
But it was one where I think there was another boat that they had on the shore, and yeah, Gilligan ended up screwing it up.
Yeah, the one, right? Not the one episode. They almost got it's like all of them. When Giroux and Coots become UFA in 22-23, do they really swap contracts? 8.275 for Coots and 4.33 for Giroux.
We'll see how long Giroux plays. I would think that Giroux would take less money. I would think that he retires as a member of the Flyers. Couturier is worth whatever they give him. Couturier is one of the best, if not the best, two-way forward in the game right now. And I'm including Bergeron in that. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how direct matchups between Philly and Boston turn out this year.
Do you like corner gas?
Of course.
Yes.
Which Canadian wouldn't like Corner Gas? Corner Gas is one of the most Canadian shows on TV. It's very Canadian, and it's I don't know. It's just it's a nice, happy show, and it's funny. It's like Brent and I have the same sense of humor. So,
True.
you know, the way that Brent is on that show, it's kind of the way I am in general. Like if there was a Hank around me, I'd be making fun of him all the time too. So that's just how that works. I've had coworkers I'm like that with, where I'm constantly on them and mocking them and making dry, sarcastic remarks about. So yeah, Brent and I have a very similar sense of humor.
Mm-hmm. How long does a ban stay? Once we ban somebody, we don't really ever think about it again.
I generally just leave it unless it's
not one of those we ban somebody for a little bit of time, because that would
I've tried.
You don't think about it.
There's been a couple of times lately
this
where
person's being dumb.
A couple times lately where I've dealt with a troll and I've thought, nah, I don't really want. I shouldn't ban. And then a few days later, I realized, yeah, no, you were right the first time. So in general, once I've made that decision, then I don't usually go back on it. There have been times where we have, but it's been a special circumstance or something else has happened, or maybe it's an accidental ban. But in general, I don't, because
we usually don't, because we don't think about it anymore. If you were a jerk enough to get banned in the first place,
right.
If it was a misunderstanding, okay, but that's generally not the case.
So when I started the channel out, one thing that was really important to me was to make sure that, because I always saw these really nasty discussions back and forth everywhere else on the internet. I saw them all the time on YouTube, and I thought it was important to foster a community where you can express your thoughts on something,
conversations,
and have a debate. And a debate means that you're going to have a disagreement, but it still stays civil. And there are some people on the internet that are incapable of having that civil discourse where you can actually discuss things, and maybe you can end up seeing the other person's perspective. You can go, well, I don't necessarily agree, but thanks for explaining your side, and best of luck to you, this kind of thing. But yeah, if I see people that are just antagonizing constantly, that's usually what leads to it. Or people who are just poking because they want to get banned. I'm like, okay, well, or the
people that oh, this guy's crap, check out these videos. Nah, it's just gone. Yeah. We just ban them.
Yeah.
And how often? Sometimes there's a lot.
If you include the bots, it's all the time.
We do have thousands.
The bots drive me nuts.
Banned.
The bots drive me absolutely insane, because there's so many of them, and they never get on the channel. You won't see them because I figured out how to filter them. Mostly, they've sort of changed what they say now, so they can get past some of it. I'll have to change the ban phrases again.
If you're making comments, you're not banned.
Right. If you're able to comment on a live stream, you're not banned.
So you're not banned if you are commenting right now.
Right.
So that's not a thing. How do you know you have bots? Oh my gosh.
Because they do you love me? I'm single. I'm alone. 1046. That's my favorite. It'll little timestamps.
Timestamps and usually have like a bunch of heart emojis.
And those are bots, and I just hide user. It's like I don't know. Some days it's like 20, 25 of them, and it just gets exhausting. But, I try to make sure that doesn't show up on the channel. I see it everywhere else on YouTube too.
They mostly get automatically held.
Yeah.
A lot of them get automatically
And they'll
held.
usually comment within the first hour or two a video goes live.
Yeah.
So they hit all the new videos on YouTube.
Yeah, they post the same thing and have random numbers. Yeah, and it's usually a bunch of emojis, and the thumbnails will be of girls with their boobs out.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
Like, if I question it, like, oh, is that a bot? I look at their picture. That usually, yeah, that's one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you love me? And hide from channel.
Yeah, I hate those bots.
Yeah, I try to keep them off the channel as much as possible.
It is obnoxious.
Yeah.
Do you think Petey will ever be the best two-way forward in the league?
Two-way forward? I don't know about being two-way forward. I know that he's a superstar. I know that he eventually will probably have 100-point seasons. I don't know about two-way forward. I know his defensive game is underrated, but I don't see him being a Selke contender because he has the offense that he does. So I don't think he'll ever be seen as a two-way guy like say Couturier, Bergeron, Suzuki in Montreal. But his defensive game is definitely underrated.
Why do those bots exist? They're to get you to go to their
drive traffic to the adult websites that are probably suffering right now.
Because apparently they don't have enough people watching porn. Yeah. They need more people come watch the porn. So they go on YouTube channels that have absolutely nothing to do with it to try and get people to click on their links.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times they'll have time links that don't actually go to a time in the video.
And if you're lucky, there's probably some kind of spyware, malware that's probably attached to their sites too. Because you think when they're bots, there's probably something else going on there. It's definitely something shady. Somebody's making money.
I'll find in YouTube comments accounts with that type of photo, but a comment relating to the video, like a real person. Sometimes it seems like they've watched, like actually watched the video, but if you look at their other comments, yeah, it's weird. So some of them have people on them or people behind it. It's weird. Yvonne, ever think of making a crafting sewing channel? Love your shirt. Thank you. No, I have not thought about it. I know a lot of people have. What are you doing?
I think Yvonne Sews What would work as the name of the channel. Yvonne Sews What, SEWS, what? And it could just have her going as the picture. It could have me going as the picture.
See, then people would click on it, hoping to see Shannon. It's like my Instagram.
Yvonne Sews What? My Instagram,
whenever I post a picture that has Shannon in it, there will be a gajillion comments. Not Shannon? Yeah.
Or So Yvonne. S-E-W. So Yvonne.
It's the... We'll follow so in case maybe there's a Shannon sighting.
I could do the opening. I could do the intro for all of her videos. Today on So Yvonne, Yvonne is sewing and go.
You're a dork. Yeah.
Like she's sewing right now.
I am not sewing, dork.
See, she's teaching us.
I'm not teaching.
Collectively.
I am not teaching at all.
I'm
late. What did I miss? Shannon being ridiculous.
Basically, yeah. And I mean, if you were watching football, and right now, well, we'll see how this game turns out today between Seattle and LA. But right now, if you're a Rams fan, you're pretty happy with the score.
Thoughts on Sam Morin switching to left wing for the Flyers?
Makes sense. He's been out for a long time, and they have the depth on the blue line, so he doesn't need to play there. Transitioning him to forward makes the most sense for Philadelphia. And, hopefully Morin can stay healthy. And then if something happens during the game, so let's say one of their defensemen gets hurt, well, then you could put Morin back on the blue line. You still have 6 defenders, and then you have 11 forwards, which is easier to deal with than 12 forwards and 5 defensemen.
Are there more videos today?
Yes.
It's only 3 o'clock. I'm
Yes.
sure he's doing
Keep in mind, I'm trying to get ready for the NHL schedule, which is my videos will be later in the day. So I'm trying to get myself out of the habit of making them all early in the morning, make them later in the day, and do my treadmill in the middle. And then, I'm planning on doing another 31 players video and then some kind of a power rankings preseason. I won't use the regular power rankings board for that, but I'll do some kind of preseason power rankings. I'm thinking about doing, I know ESPN did a watchability ranking, but they put it behind a paywall. So you only see the first 2 teams, which kind of drives me crazy. That's the kind of stuff that I understand why they put it behind the paywall, but then you're posting it on your regular Twitter. So if you're not going to let us see it, and I'm in Canada, so I've even looked and gone, well, can I even get past the paywall? No, because I'm in Canada. So I'm not allowed to see what the watchable teams are according to ESPN. So screw them, I'll make my own power rankings.
You're not cool enough. So.
I don't care. So I'll make my own.
Why did the Colts take their time so much fourth quarter?
I'm not sure what was going on there. And I mean, to me, the coaching decisions to me started with calling for a 2-point conversion where one would have got them to 7 down. There's going to be some questions asked there. Indianapolis had a very good record, but there's definitely something there that's preventing them from getting into contender status. And they submarined themselves against Buffalo. Rightfully, they probably should have beaten Buffalo. They didn't. And so some questions have to get asked of an 11-5 team.
It is a gritty cup. How ridiculous is this cup?
I bought it. I bought it as soon as I saw it. Dave's going to want one too, you know.
It's one of those Turvises because I really like the Turvis cups. We normally get them when we go in Vegas, and the lady at the store knows us and knows that we like to get all the teams. There's a bunch of teams I don't have, but
next time we go to Vegas, we'll have to bring down a half-empty.
Was that yesterday?
Bag of,
Yeah.
And you've got more coming.
Next time we need to call her ahead of time and she can get certain teams because there are quite a few teams we do not have.
Yep.
Because they just don't carry them. I was surprised they carried as many teams as they do. But yeah, it's a fun cup. And they're those double-walled ones, so my drinks actually stay hot. So, yeah. What's being sewn today?
False start.
I sewed 2 hot pads this morning.
5-yard penalty
for somebody that'll be mailing. Right now I'm knitting, though.
So Seattle seems to be bound and determined to implode today. God, those Rams jerseys are ugly.
Svechnikov points prediction.
I'll say 50, 52, somewhere in that range. Probably more goals than assists. At some point, he will explode and get like a 90-point season. I don't necessarily think it's yet, though.
Least talked or most talked NHL team on the channel.
The most talked is Toronto. The least talked on the channel, and I'm assuming he means in the comments.
I don't know.
Least talked would probably be between like Florida, Arizona, Carolina. I know personally for my coverage, I try to make sure it's all 31 teams that I'm covering as much as possible.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, when I do career videos, I try to make sure I'm going through as many different teams when I'm doing careers and go, okay, so which team have I not done a career video for lately, that kind of thing. But in the comments, Toronto is the one that's most talked about, both by Toronto fans and people that don't like Toronto. Toronto will always garner interest.
When things go back to normal, do you think NHL should have Winnipeg play Calgary and Atlanta during the preseason, possibly a season game? Have both teams wear their Atlanta jerseys?
The only way that works is if the NHL plans to go back to Atlanta, and I don't think the NHL does. I sadly think that the Atlanta experiment is over, and I can't see them playing a preseason or exhibition there at all, because they would only want to do that in, say, like Houston, or a place that they see as being potentially the future, maybe play games in Quebec City, that kind of thing. I just can't see them going back into Atlanta. It was not the fault of the fans of Atlanta that the Thrashers moved. It was crappy ownership, and it was that they didn't have the building, but I can't see the NHL going back there.
Does Shannon even like Toronto?
Okay, the best way to put this is, okay, so you start up a channel, say talking about say the NFL, and at the time the channel starts, you go, you know what, I really can't stand the Bears, but every time you do a video about the Bears, it does really well. Maybe you generate a little bit more income whenever the Bears are doing well. It eats away at your dislike for the Bears, right? So for me, I don't do more Toronto coverage than I do of other teams, but Toronto videos generally do pretty well. So for instance, if Toronto beats Boston and I have to do a review of it, I know that video is going to do really well because Toronto fans are going to be like, I can't wait to see Shannon's reaction because our Leafs beat his team. It's like Steve Dangle. When the Leafs do poorly and they lose, I'm pretty sure his videos get more views than when they win.
We get on the
when
live
he
streams
does
the
his
comments
freakouts.
of, I can't
When he
wait
does
to
his
see his
freakouts.
video.
So on some level, Steve Dangle's probably thinking, I hate to see the Leafs lose, but at least I make money when they do. So for me, it's I don't like seeing my teams lose, but they make money. I make money when they do, whereas before nobody gave a damn about me freaking out that the Canucks might lose or the Bruins might lose. I don't dislike teams the way that I did when the channel started.
You do
out.
have that video about the teams that you hate the most that
yeah,
people took seriously.
They did. They still do. Every now and then I still see comments on it. But it's really funny. Genuinely, when you cover every team, I now understand like the TSN Sportsnet guys and everything, they may prefer to the Toronto Maple Leafs. But when you watch every team, it really does eat away both at fandom of certain teams and it eats away at your dislike for other teams as well because you become more familiar with the players. So for me, I'm far more familiar with players on the Toronto Maple Leafs, Montreal Canadiens, Pittsburgh Penguins, San Jose, Anaheim, teams that I really didn't like when the channel started out than I was 5 years ago. So it really dulls that dislike I might have. And again, if Toronto beats Boston in a series, that would, like if Toronto won a Game 7 over Boston, that would be the most viewed video of the year. So I'd be standing here going, man, Boston lost to Toronto, but this is going to be the most viewed video of the year. So, see, so it definitely, it changes things. It does make a change, and it does mean that, I'm okay with Toronto winning games that I might not have been okay with 5 years ago. It really doesn't bother me.
Why did you used to hate the Ducks?
Because they always beat Vancouver. And Vancouver would go through California, and I couldn't stand the Kings, the Ducks, or the Sharks because the Canucks would be on a nice run. They'd be doing well, and then they go to California, and they'd lose all 3 in a row, and then it would just be garbage after that. And it's like, okay, so if they could just avoid California, and the Ducks had a lot of players I didn't like as well. So it was I didn't like members of the Ducks. I didn't like the team. I was tired of them beating Vancouver. It's the same reason that Calgary fans would dislike Anaheim as well. Get tired of seeing these guys beat your team. And San Jose would come into Vancouver and just beat the hell out of Vancouver. And every time it'd be the same, like, Canuck fans would say, oh, are you excited about the Sharks game tonight? No, I'm not. Because Canucks are going to get killed. That's not a very good fan. No, we're going to die, and they're going to whoop us, and I'm going to hate it. And I hate every minute of it. And then I turn on the game, and I go, oh, yeah, it's 3-0 in the first. Sure, that's about right. And then I turn something else on. Yeah.
Used to be a brutal road trip for many teams back in the day.
I'd watch something happy like a Nightmare on Elm Street movie or something because they're Evil Dead because I just didn't want to watch that carnage that was the Canucks game.
While hockey isn't a thing in the Philippines, it's amazing how much Maple Leafs shirts, hats, etc. I see when I go back to Manila.
It's very recognized. It's a very well-known
I went down to
logo.
Mexico, and they're at their little, I don't know what you call them, shops.
Fiesta?
They're not really. No, they had
Taco Hut.
They had Leafs.
Sombrero.
I know there was quite a few Leafs things. I did find Vegas. I saw Sharks and Ducks. So they had this stuff from like California. I don't remember seeing Kings. But they had stuff from California, and then they had Leafs.
Everybody has Leafs. Leafs is the number one seller. It's like in baseball, the Yankees. It's the same thing with the Yankees, where you see Yankee stuff everywhere. And yet I don't know of any Yankees fans personally, not around here, and yet you still see Yankees gear everywhere because Yankees, I think, is the number one seller for baseball. And Red Sox, of course.
Lane's
Staley or Chris Cornell. Well, Chris Cornell's like one of the greatest singers. He's fantastic. I could not vote against Chris Cornell.
How young is Mr. Shannon? 36.
563 years old. See, it depends on which calendar you use. If you use the 1812 calendar,
he's really old.
It's 560 years old. If you go by the 1812 calendar, before the Greeks stole our calendars and changed them, which happened in the War of 1812. Right.
Fantasy basketball also cools some of my rivalries.
Yes, that's how that works. The fantasy sports too, where you're seeing a guy and you're like, well, he scored a goal. I don't like the team, but that helped my fantasy.
It's 36 is old. Yeah. Shannon's really old at 30. He's not 36. He's a 20-year-old child, and we've got a 16-year-old, and he's definitely not 36. Yeah, Shannon's not here, so I'm not asking myself hockey questions. So, just gonna. What's the obsession with the War of 1812? It's not an obsession. It's a joke that he's been joking about forever. There's videos. When did that start? I don't even remember when that started. Started forever ago.
See, I don't get into my age, but I'm old enough that every time that Frank Thomas Total T commercial comes on, I tell it to shut up. You know the one I'm talking about.
What? I was
the Total T, the Total Testosterone commercials they have. I tell those to shut up every time one of those is on TV.
They're ridiculous. Yeah. Shannon is super old. I don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I remember the 50s and the 40s, the 30s. My first girlfriend was Marilyn Monroe. I almost said Marilyn Manson, but Marilyn Monroe.
There you go.
And then her and Mansfield got into this whole weird fighting thing over me.
He's way older than 36. He totally is.
When you get into the point where you got Marilyn Monroe fighting over you with Jane Mansfield, and then you're like, you
Shannon
call up Mamie Van
Vietnam.
Doren, and Mamie Van Doren kind of has to sneak you out the back door because these two women are fighting over you. It's just it was bad.
Do you make PJs for your kids? Yup. I make most of their clothes. They like me making them clothes, but yeah, I absolutely make them pajamas. So Shannon's a Highlander. Yeah.
Basically, yes. Okay, so I've got an update from Superstore that's not encouraging.
They're late. Don't come get your food. You can't get your food.
No, they're saying your order's being prepared.
Man, I've got
so the food should be ready, but they're saying anything that they don't have, there's no substitutions either. So we've been having this problem.
We keep not being able to get our groceries because they're out of all the groceries, like meat.
Yeah.
They never have meat.
Yeah.
Ever.
Oh, yeah. No. Frank Thomas, she'll like it too. Yeah. You know what that means, right? Huh? Yeah. It's ridiculous. That's that total testosterone.
Oh, yeah.
Be more of a man. More of a man.
No, Shannon is not 36. He has a 20-year-old. He did not have a child when he was a teenager.
But I could have. And he's 21.
You couldn't have. Oh yeah. He had a birthday. I'm really bad at our kids keep having birthdays and then I forget how old they are.
Yeah. So I would have been.
Shannon is definitely
15.
not 36.
I would have been 15, which means she would have been pregnant when she was 14. So
which is definitely
when I was 14, she would have been 16. Man, that would have been some bragging rights in school, wouldn't it?
Why do we have moderators? Because people online are assholes.
Yes. Moderators are important to your own sanity.
Mm-hmm.
They're very important.
True story.
We have that on Discord. We have that here. It's great.
They make live streams not miserable.
It's
live streams. I used to have to read the comments off screen when Shannon would do the thing, but I would be off screen because we didn't have moderators, and it was really, really stressful because we would get people that were complete assholes and would do just the creepiest. Yeah. And so we have lots of moderators now, and now live streams can actually be fun.
Yes.
And the moderators are the people that delete comments. They put people in timeout. they don't usually ban unless they know that the person has crossed the line. I am usually the one that bans unless Shannon sees certain comments and he will ban them. Yep. Yeah, moderators make it so that our comment sections aren't the typical YouTube comment section.
And it's tough. It is not
There's
always
a lot
easy to
of
have that.
horrible people
As the
online.
channel gets bigger, as it's more visible, it gets more difficult to keep everything as civil as possible on the channel. But I do my best. I do my best to keep it as civil as possible.
And our moderators are really, really helpful. And our moderators are awesome.
But it's funny too, because I know there are people on the internet that say, well, you know, if you disagree with Shannon, he'll ban you. No, that's not true. There's a guy who's been disagreeing with me on my channel for 4.5 years. He has never once posted a comment on the channel that's at all complimentary of a video that's been done, or that's really good research there, boss. For 4.5 years, I've had an argument with the same user, and I've never once even considered banning him because it's annoying. He's never swearing and yelling. He's never like really rude and obnoxious, and he's not picking fights with everybody. It's just basically like flicking your earlobe every 10 seconds. That's the kind of, knock it off. But it's not bannable. So I've argued with this guy for 4.5 years. I am sure that at some point in time we'll do a meetup in the eastern part of Canada, and he'll show up with a whole book full of things that I've said wrong over the last 5 years, and fine. But yeah, again, I never hit the ban button. I've never even thought about it because it's not a big deal. No, not you. Not you. Not you. You're fine. Abs Nation, you are fine.
There are certain commenters that we see a lot that disagree. But
and he does disagree with me plenty, but that's fine.
Disagreeing
is not a problem.
Just being a jerk.
But when somebody's like, you're nothing but a joke and this whole channel's a joke and you're a moron. And I'm like, that's not.
Here you are watching a video.
And then they'll turn around and say, you just can't take constructive criticism. What's constructive in there?
It is. Yes.
You know, does a teacher come up and grab your work and go, you're an idiot, and fling it against the wall and go, oh, here's your constructive criticism. Fix it. Fix what? You just told me I'm an idiot. What does that do to fix anything?
True.
You can't take constructive criticism.
Do your kids like or play hockey? Well, right now they don't. But when it's not the apocalypse, all 3 of our kids play hockey. Yep. Our oldest is in Special Olympics hockey. And then our other 2 do ice hockey.
And then like last year, I was trying to help out our daughter with some of the puck stuff before she'd do her practices. She was just all excited to have me out there on the ice with her. Mm-hmm. So like I was trying like passing it off the boards and trying to show her some of the stick handling.
So they do all play hockey. They all have hockey jerseys. Yeah, they all have hockey jerseys.
And I would love to strap on a pair of skates and go out and play a game of hockey right now. It's not going to happen.
Thank you. Your videos have kept me going since March. You both rock. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Because without you guys watching, this doesn't happen. This doesn't exist.
Just be talking to a computer. And
I'd be talking to myself like I was before the channel existed.
True.
Common enough.
Favorite all-time NHL video game?
Stanley Cup. Back on the Super Nintendo. That game was fun. And again, I mentioned this in the video lately. I was one of the guys that every time the puck changed hands, the whole rink would spin every time the puck changed hands. And so, you know, people got really discombobulated with that. Didn't bother me at all. I was fine. And that was one thing that helped me be better than some of my friends at it. But that was before we had online and we knew we all sucked. So it's a shame we didn't have online play then, so everybody could tell us we were nerds and idiots and spam goals against us.
That's too bad.
Yeah, it's too bad that we would actually sit in a room together and play a video game and enjoy each other's company. So, and make the insults at one another.
Will you be getting the Sharks' 30th anniversary jersey? Do you
That's
think
on the way.
The Flyers have a chance at the Cup?
Yes. For the Flyers, it honestly, right now they have a good chance. That division is brutal. Whoever comes out of that division, as battle hardened as they're going to be, as long as they can avoid injuries along the way, has an excellent chance of winning the Stanley Cup. Philadelphia to me is a contender. I said that last season. I haven't seen anything in the offseason to tell me they're less of a contender. And if Ghost has that bounce back year, and if he's playing with Provorov, that could be huge.
Somebody else is asking how many jerseys you have.
Lots.
Stupid amount.
It's It's insane.
Old
It's a lot.
jersey that you have that could be a 2023.
Old jersey. I like the Pittsburgh blue one with the penguin inside the circle. With Pittsburgh Penguins and circle around it. That one's really, really sharp. I'd like to see an Adidas update of that one. I'd like to see... Basically, they've done all of them. I'd like to see the Islanders do something with that wave style of jersey. Not necessarily the fisherman, but that wave style. Maybe have the lighthouse as the main logo on the front. Something fun there. I have the fisherman. I don't think they'll ever actually use it as a third. If they were going to use it as a reverse retro, it would have been this year. So, yeah, I mean, I've done videos too on the channel on jerseys I'd like to see teams use as a third. That's one thing that's a help of having almost every jersey, is that I can just kind of hold up and go, I like to see this come back. Thank you.
The fabric's just original 6.
Yeah.
This one only has I haven't found any that has all the teams on it. I have most
nobody's that crazy.
No, I haven't found any. I have this original 6, and then I have a bunch of the teams.
It's an audience of 1.
I have a bunch of I have a bunch of teams that have just their logo on it. I found when making the Christmas ornaments, there are a few teams I'm missing. I'm missing about 6 teams.
Right.
Wasn't it 6? Missing about 6 teams that I don't have any fabric for those teams. And that's sad.
All right. Anyways, we should probably get going because you've got groceries to run and pick up.
Yeah.
If there's anything actually there.
If I actually get a pickup.
But
groceries, or is it going to be like last time? There's no meat, no vegetables. So
yeah, so it could be a quick trip for her, but at least it'll be some groceries.
It's no, there is no such thing as a quick trip now.
Okay,
so, nothing is a quick trip.
It's gonna be a nice quick trip.
I'm hoping there will actually be a space.
It's gonna be quick. It's gonna be fast.
It's gonna
nothing. Be fast.
I don't know about where you guys are, but everything takes forever now, forever. And curbside pickup, I mean,
it'll be fine.
It's awesome,
it'll be fine.
But sometimes when you get there, all of the curbside pickup spaces are full. And if you call them and you say, there's no parking spots, but I'm next to, nope, I'm sorry, we cannot, you have to be in a curbside space.
Anyways.
There aren't any.
So she gets to have that experience now. She gets to enjoy that experience now.
It's obnoxious.
And I'll watch some more football, and we'll see whether or not the Seahawks are able to come back. And I'll probably do a video on the Entertainment Guy too, when the weekend's football games are done. So if you're not subscribed to the Entertainment
somebody's
Guy,
asking if they can get scrub hats. Feel free to email the Hockey Guy email address, and I can talk to you about that.
Mm-hmm. There you go. All right.
Still definitely making scrub hats.
So yeah, there you go. All right. Thanks for coming out. Enjoy the hockey on Wednesday. And for patrons and members, I'll see you guys on Monday. We will do this again soon.